Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto has a hollow mask. Chunin exams part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. 12, let's call them beings, since they certainly are not humans, were standing in a place which was completely white all around and above them. Unlike the sides and the ceiling of the place, the floor seems to not even be there, as it looks like the 12 of them are standing on air. They are looking at something which was happening in the place called Konoha, in the land of fire. They are watching a small, blonde-haired, 12, maybe 13-year-old kid. He was dressed in an old orange jumpsuit, which was torn up in many places, showing the kid's pale skin. Because of how damaged the jumpsuit is, the 12 beings could see how skinny and malnourished the boy is. They could also see that the boy has some scars and bruises all over his face, as well as his body. There was also dried up blood on his face and cloths, or at least what's left of the cloths. Anyway, the boy is currently on his knees, on a high platform, in the middle of the village. His hands are tied behind his back, while his ankles are tied to the platform. He was looking down below, at the mass of people, who have gathered to watch his execution. He noticed that majority of the people had smirks, or large smiles on their faces, while only occasional few wore scowls, angry faces, or were crying because of what's about to happen. The boy did his best to memorize the faces of the latter ones, as they are the ones who care about him, and he wants their faces to be the last thing he sees and thinks about before his imminent death. It took him a while to memorize all of their faces, probably because one of his eyes was shut from the swelling, which he got from the beating he was put through the last few days ever since he was thrown into prison. The fact that he also has a concussion from all the beating didn't help with the memorizing. After he memorized the faces of his precious people, few as they might be, he looked around himself at those who were standing on the platform. He had trouble seeing them with just one eye, but he noticed that all but one of them wore smirks on their faces, while the last one, the 5th Hokage herself, had a blank look on her face. She looked neither happy nor sad. It was like she wasn't even there, mentally. One of the people who were on the stand, Naruto recognized him as one of the elders of the council, walked up the front of the execution platform, and started to explain how Naruto is the village traitor, who almost killed the last Uchiha on the mission to retrieve the said Uchiha from the clutches of the traitor, Orochimaru, who kidnapped Sasuke Uchiha from the village. He said that because of what Naruto did to Sasuke, causing him grave injuries, which could have been fatal if not for Tsunade, Naruto was sentenced to death, and Sasuke himself will be the one to perform the execution. While the old man was giving the speech to the masses, the 12 beings above them were watching the scene with mostly blank looks. "What is going on here?" asked the smallest and the youngest looking member of the group. Her name is Lynette, and she was wearing a helmet, with 2 horns on the top of her head. The left horn looks as if it has been cut off, and the left half of the mask covers her left eye. Her right eye is light pink, with the left eye covered by her mask and a flame design over the eye socket, and she also has light green hair arranged in a very basic manner. She was dressed in a white-colored briefs with a black line positioned in the middle, arm warmers, a revealing vest with a high collar and thigh-high, fur-lined boots. The most interesting thing about her is the hole, positioned in the center of her stomach. "Who is that kid? And why are you showing us this?" Her question was addressed at the tall female, wearing a regal clothing like that of a princess or a queen. She looks like she is in her early 20s. Has long, light brown hair and blue eyes, along with 3 blue marks on her face, one of which is in the middle of her forehead, while the other 2 are below and to the side of her eyes. The most noticeable thing about her is her unearthly beauty and presence, which was felt by the other 11 beings. It didn't surprise them though, as she was a goddess, after all. "Now that you see this kid," the goddess spoke, "doesn't he bring out some memories?" There was a silence after that question, as all 11 beings, plus the goddess, were looking at Naruto, his face, to be more specific. "Yes," said one of the beings, whose name is Ulquiorra. "This one is a slender, yet fairly muscular, male of average height with a melancholic appearance. He has fairly short, messy black hair, pale white skin, a black upper lip, and green eyes with small slit-shaped pupils, similar to a cat's. Part of his bangs fall between his eyes, and he has distinctively thick eyebrows. He has teal lines which descend from the lower part of his eyes. He wears a white jacket, black sash, and a white hakama. His jacket, though, has longer coattails than the others in the room, who also wear similar clothing. His collar is higher than the others have. The most noticeable thing, a hole on his throat. He does seem familiar for some reason, I just can't figure out why, since I'm sure I have never seen him before." Ulquiorra speaking the whole sentence was a surprise for the others, as he was very quiet and barely speaks, unless personally asked a question. They decided not to pay attention to that right now, because, just like Ulquiorra, they all seem to have memories of Naruto, and just like Ulquiorra, they can't figure out why. "I feel like I'm he and he is me." This came from a man named Sailaporo. He is a tall and thin male. He has shoulder-length pink hair with bangs on the right side of his forehead, with 2 thin lines missing hair on the left side of his head and amber eyes. He has a rectangular framed glasses, giving him a scholarly appearance. Sailaporo wears a long shirt that covers his entire torso up to the top of his neck. He has 3 stripes on his uniform, each starting at his collar with 2 running to each side of his chest and 1 down the middle. He wears the regular pants with a slight length taken away. He also wears white gloves. Technically, you are correct, Sailaporo, the goddess said, drawing looks from everyone else. Well, partly anyway. What does that mean? Sailaporo asked. The goddess didn't say anything right away, and instead, she was looking down toward Naruto, who was just impaled through the heart by Sasuke's Chidori. They were all listening, as with his dying breath, Naruto said to Sasuke that Sasuke is a traitor, how he is not his best friend, he never was and never will be, and how killing him will not give Sasuke Mangekyo Sharingan, like Sasuke and most of the villagers were hoping. The goddess and the others watched, as Naruto died, and then his soul left his body, before a small red orb separated from Naruto's soul and disappeared. This surprised everyone but the goddess, as she knew what that was. What happened next, though, surprised them even more. Naruto's soul glowed black, before it split up in 10 different orbs, each different colored, which then flew toward the sky until, one after the other, they all disappeared. Another interesting thing that happened was that the necklace Naruto had around his neck, the same one Tsunade gave him, broke into 10 different pieces, and they also disappeared. Once Naruto's soul disappeared, the goddess snapped her fingers, and Konoha disappeared from everyone's sights, turning the floor below them all, the same white color as the walls and the ceiling. As you have heard, the boy's name was Naruto Uzumaki, the goddess said, and then went to explain about the boy's life, from the night of his birth until the day of his death. The red orb which separated from his soul was Nine-Tails' soul, which will eventually reappear somewhere in the elemental nations. What happened afterward is that Naruto's soul broke into 10 pieces. Each piece ended up in Hueco Mundo, where they became hollows. Over time, those 10 pieces would rise in power and rank, with one of the pieces actually splitting once more. The goddess noticed that it has finally started to dawn, where she was going with this explanation, on the minds of the beings in front of her. Those 10 pieces would become the 11 of you, after Stark over there split his soul once again to create Lilinet. The silence which followed after it was revealed that Espada all used to be one human boy, before his death and the break of his soul, was unnatural. It was quitter than on the cemetery during the night. Eventually it was broken by Sailaporo. But how is that possible, he asked. Human souls can't break into pieces like that. At least not naturally. Instead of answering the question right away, the goddess went and snapped her fingers one more time, before the eyes of the Arankars glowed and then glazed over for a few moments. What was that? Asked a tall, muscular man with light blue spiky hair and light blue eyes, the latter including green lines below them. His name is Grimjow. Grimjow's attire consists of a white hakama, a black sash and a ragged white jacket with an upturned collar. The inner lining of his jacket is black and Grimjow wears it with the sleeves rolled up and leaving it open to expose his muscular chest. The remains of his hollow mask consist of the right jawbone, and his hollow hole is located on his abdomen. Grimjow sports a large scar across his torso, gained from his battle with Ichigo Kurosaki. The other Arankar wondered the same, those smarter ones, like Sailaporo, seemed to have figured it out. Those were Naruto's memories from when he was alive, the goddess said. After he died and his soul broke, all the memories of his life were buried deep into all of your minds. I just brought them out. Do you now understand why Naruto's soul broke? The goddess asked. Do you understand the kind of life he had is what caused his soul to crack when he was still alive, until it finally shattered when he died? Sailaporo is right. Souls shouldn't shatter like that without something powerful causing it to break. Pain and suffering Naruto felt and experienced during his short life were powerful enough to break his soul, and over time, create all of you. All of you represent something about him. His feelings, his experiences, his desires, his aspects. All of your powers are dependent on how powerful his aspects were. Seeing the confused looks, the goddess decided to explain. For example, Yami. The goddess looked toward Yami Largo. He is by far the largest of the current Espada. Yami is a giant Arankar with tan skin, a powerful build, and a ridge-lined cranium. He has brown eyes, black hair, long, bushy sideburns, and a thin ponytail reaching his upper back. Aside from this, he is bald. He has orange eyebrows, and red markings under his eyes. He wears the standard Espada uniform, with the only difference being his jacket is always open. Like all Arankar, he has a large hole signifying his previous time as a hollow. His is located in the center of his chest. What remains of his hollow mask is the jawbone, complete with 8 teeth, which rests on his chin. A tattoo of the number 10, signifying Yami's rank, is on his left shoulder. In his released form, the 1 melts away, leaving just the 0. Yami looked toward the goddess, waiting to see what she will say about him. You are the strongest of all 10 of you, and your aspect is rage, the goddess said. That's because of all of Naruto's aspects, his rage was the strongest. It even eclipsed his loneliness, which became Stark's aspect of solitude. The same goes for the rest of you. She was now looking at everyone, and not just at Yami. The more powerful one of his emotions was, the more powerful you became as representation of those emotions, representation of Naruto's aspects. The goddess paused, and had a thoughtful look for a moment, while looking at Baragon, Ulquiorra, and Zamari. Baragon has the appearance of an elderly man, with a left olive-green eye, a white mustache and white hair. His face is lined by large scars on the left side of his chin that goes down to his neck and across his right eye. Despite his aged appearance, Baragon is quite stocky and muscular, and when standing, albeit with the slouch of an elderly person, he is of a fair size. He wears a regal white leather coat with black fur lining, short sleeves, and 3 black fur stripes running along the bottom. He wears a golden wristband on both wrists, and a belt consisting of 3 thick chains attached to a large metal disc with a sun emblem. Overall, he resembles a barbarian lord, of Viking origin. The remnants of his hollow mask take the form of a 5-pointed crown just above his forehead. The location of his Espada tattoo is unknown. His hollow hole is in the center of his chest. Zamari is a tall, muscular, dark-skinned Arankar with noticeably large lips. The remnants of his hollow mask consist of a row of bony spikes along the crest of his head, forming something similar to a mohawk hairstyle along with a pair of skull-shaped earrings and a thick bony necklace. However, it is uncertain if the necklace may also be a part of his hollow remains. This gives him somewhat of a witch doctor appearance. He is also bald and has golden yellow eyes. Zamari's uniform conceals his Espada tattoo and consists of a long Mandarin-style Arankar jacket with a small opening at his chest area. He wears a default hakama like all other Arankar, although his sandals resemble traditional martial arts training shoes. Zamari has 3 triangle-shaped tattoos on his chin. He also has 4 lines running down from his forehead directly above his eyes that end with dots appearing as exclamation points. These are on both sides of his head, giving him a total of 8 lines. The 3 represents senescence, nihilism and hedonism, in that order, and that is what's confusing the goddess. Naruto was 12 years old when he died, the goddess said. So the reason behind one of the pieces of his soul becoming Baragon, or why it represents senescence, is beyond me. Ulquiorra's nihilism, maybe I can understand to a certain point why some of his beliefs can be considered nihilistic. I don't understand Zamari's aspect at all, she outright said. Nothing, absolutely nothing about Naruto would make me think that he has even a whiff of hedonism in him. It just doesn't go with him, just like senescence. Everyone thought about what the goddess said, while casting occasional looks at Baragon, Ulquiorra and Zamari, but since none of them could think of an answer to the goddess's doubts, they decided to let it go for now. There was one question on everyone's minds at that point, and the one who finally asked it was Tira Haribel. Haribel is a tall female Arankar with olive skin, aqua-green eyes, thick eyelashes, and short golden blonde hair, which she usually keeps messy with 3 braided locks. She wears a variation of the Arankar jacket with a high collar, which covers the lower part of her face downward, while bearing a good portion of the lower half of her large. The jacket has a zipper running along its entire length, which is open from the bottom upwards. It has a beige air filter on either side just below the trim. The jacket's sleeves completely envelop her arms, terminating in black glove-like extensions at her extremities, resembling the appearance of a cat's paw. The remnants of her hollow mask consist of the sides of her face, her mouth, and an extensive area below and around her neck extending down to, and also covering, her. She usually hides these remnants from view with her jacket. Her Espada tattoo is placed on the left side of her right breast. The location of her hollow hole is in her lower abdomen where her womb would be. What happens now? Haribel asked. What is the real reason you brought us all here after our deaths? The goddess noticed that everyone's eyes were now on her, so she smiled and said, I brought you all here because I'm going to fuse you all back together and recreate the original Naruto Uzumaki. Once she said that, several Arankars, who were more open about showing their emotions and facial expressions, like Yami, Lilinet and Grimjow, had their jaws on the floor, while several others had their eyes wide open. The only thing noticeable on the faces of Ulquiorra, Baragon and Stark are raised eyebrows. Is that even possible? Asked the weakest piece of Naruto's soul. Erinjiro Arori's face is usually concealed behind an elongated, white mask covered with 8 holes. He dons this while in the light, and also while around his fellow Espada, as he has grown weary of questions and offhand remarks regarding his appearance. Right now, though, he was without the mask, so everyone could see his real looks, which are disturbing, to say the least. In place of a normal head, he has a large, cylindrical glass capsule filled with red liquid, with 2 small hollow heads suspended within its confines. The 2 heads are both tattooed with the number 9 and tend to talk in tandem when revealed, giving the effect of 2 people speaking in turn. The upper head speaks with a deep voice, while the other speaks in a high-pitched, childlike voice. Each head appears to have its own level of individuality. His outfit, like that of most Espada, is customized. He wears a dress garb that covers his entire body as opposed to the normal jacket and hakama. He also wears a frilly noble's coat that acts as his replacement jacket, and a single white gentleman's glove. The remains of his hollow mask are on both of his heads, the upper head having 3/4 of itself covered with the mask, and the lower head having only half of itself covered. His hollow hole is located in the left thigh area. I'm a goddess, the goddess said. I can do almost anything. Fusing you all back to how you used to be before the split is easier than you think. And why would you do that? Harabel asked. Why just not let us disappear now that we are dead? The goddess sighed. Naruto didn't deserve to die when he did, she said. He has a big destiny, and allowing him to die was a big blunder on my part. You may think that I'm all powerful, and to a certain extent I am. Of course, there is a limit to everything, and some things, even I can't do, or am not allowed by the universal laws. I knew the kind of life Naruto had since he was born, and I kept an eye on him, because I knew that there would be those who wish his death. I spent 12 years looking over him, keeping him alive in several cases, but the one time I was occupied with something else, he was executed right away. By the time I found out, he was already dead, and I couldn't do anything, since his soul already broke and the pieces went to Hueco Mundo. I was so angry after that. I almost ended up destroying the elemental nations, and the only thing that stopped me were my siblings, who reminded me that I would be punished if I hurt mortals. At that point, the only option I was left with was to wait for all of you to die, so I can bring you here and fuse you back. Once the goddess finished, she looked at the faces of all the Arankars, and saw that most of them had angry looks on their faces, but few had curious looks. One of those with curious looks was Ulquiorra, who asked, "Why is Naruto so important that you spent so much time guarding him, and now are going as far as to fuse us all to recreate him?" Naruto is the child prophesied to either save or destroy the elemental nations, the goddess said, getting raised eyebrows from every Arankar. That's why he is so important, and why his death is something that should have never happened. Once a prophecy is made, no one is allowed to manipulate it and try to make it work how they want. The prophecy about Naruto was told to Naruto's former teacher, by his summons, and he told it to his own teacher, the third Hokage, who then decided they should keep quiet about it, which is a good thing. The bad thing is that they decided to manipulate the prophecy to work for them. They wanted Konoha and the Land of Fire to be the strongest in the elemental nations, so they allowed Naruto to be starved, abused, both physically and mentally, and many other things, while at the same time, the third Hokage played a grandfather figure in Naruto's life, making Naruto think he actually cared about him, when he didn't, and only wanted Naruto forged into a weapon to send after everyone except Konoha and the Land of Fire. Of course, they couldn't just train him to become strong, or let him have a normal life and do as he pleases, as they thought that he could become uncontrollable. Every time he was tortured, Hokage knew from the start, and even ordered some of the attacks. He would wait until Naruto is just about to be killed, or until he took enough damage that it would take a while even for the Ninetales to heal, before he stopped the attack, and then took Naruto to the hospital. Then, he would play the concerned grandfather, who would tell Naruto that the villagers don't know what they are doing, and that he should learn to forgive and forget. He is the one who implanted the thought of becoming Hokage in Naruto's head, as he thought that if Naruto aspires to something like that, it would keep him loyal to the village and do everything in order to get recognition. The third is also the one who allowed all the beatings, and who allowed the sabotage in the Ninja Academy. Naruto needed to be mentally held back, stupid and pliable, so that the day won't come when he would start asking questions the third didn't want answered. In the end, all of those tortures, mental and physical, mental manipulations, starvations, all of it, led to Naruto being considerably weaker than he should have been at the time of his death. But even with all of that, Naruto would have changed the elemental nations in one way or another, but with his death, the prophecy was left unfinished, which will lead to a complete destruction of the elemental nations. Do you all understand now why it is important to recreate Naruto and send him back to the elemental nations? The goddess asked in the end, after a lengthy explanation. A silence was what followed the question, and it lasted for a few minutes, with no one saying anything. They were all thinking about all the stuff they learned, and about the question. Eventually, Sailaporo started to talk. "You said that Naruto is prophesied to either save or destroy the elemental nations, right?" The goddess nodded. "And now you say that if Naruto isn't sent back, the elemental nations would be destroyed?" Another question and another nod, from the goddess. "You do realize that after everything you just told us, there is no way that Naruto would save anybody, and would destroy the elemental nations with his bare hands, if he was sent back? Why send him at all, instead of just letting the damn place be destroyed and be done with it?" The goddess sighed. "Now that you have all of Naruto's memories and know that not even the third Hokage cared about him, as he thought, I can't blame you for wanting to destroy the Ien, and be done with it, as you said. But you need to understand that there are still people there who are innocent, and who care about Naruto. Without Naruto, every living being on the Ien would perish, and that doesn't just mean humans, but animals, insects, summoning animals, everything would die. If Naruto is sent back, and goes on a complete rampage, destroying everything in sight, there will still be survivors here and there, unlike what would happen without him there. With him, even if destroyed, the Ien could be rebuilt. Without him there would be no life left." Every Erenka wondered what could possibly cause the complete eradication of life in a place as big as the elemental nations, but they chose not to voice the question. Instead, they all thought about what should they do, and should they accept Goddess's proposal and fuse into Naruto, or should they refuse and just disappear forever? It didn't take them long to realize that whatever they chose, they will no longer exist as they did until then. They will all disappear in one way or another. Eventually, they all came to the same decision. We accept. They all said at the same time. The goddess smiled at them. She was happy about their decision, not just because that decision is going to give Naruto another chance in life, but it will also save many lives. She frowned for a second, as she understood that even though many lives will be saved, about as many, if not even more, will be lost to newly reborn Naruto's wrath. I just hope they don't kill too many people, the goddess thought. My sister will have a lot of job because of that, and I don't want to listen to her complaints. The goddess looked at all 11 Arrancar and said, I thank you for this decision, and I hope that once you are all joined together, you will have a happy life, something which was denied to you all so far. The others didn't say anything, thought a few nodded, and then watched as the goddess's eyes glowed golden, and then they all started to glow, before, one after the other, they all turned into a golden light, which combined together to form a ball of golden energy. The situation in Konoha hasn't been the best in the last 3 years, ever since the execution of Naruto Uzumaki. While the citizens of Konoha mostly hate Naruto, and wanted his death ever since Ninetales was sealed inside of him, the same can't be said for the people from the other nations, whose lives have been touched by Naruto, in one way or another. The citizens of countries like Wave, Wind, and Spring have all grown to like Naruto and respect him a lot for what he has done for them during his short life as Konoha shinobi, which is why they were not happy when they heard about Naruto's execution. No, they were pissed off as all hell. As such, it shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone when they all broke off the alliances and trade agreements with Konoha and the Land of Fire. For those in the Land of Fire and Konoha, it was a shock to them when it happened. They didn't understand why it happened in the first, and when they found out that it was because of what they did to Naruto, they were confused at first, but then Konoha residents started cursing Naruto's name even more than they already did, as they thought that he is tormenting them even from hell, where they thought he is there, as they believe him to be a demon. They were confused, because Naruto was never mentioned in any reports about helping anyone in any country. Instead, Kakashi, the third Hokage, and the village elders were changing the reports, making it look like everything good that Naruto did for other villages was in fact done by Sasuke. So, all in all, the people of Konoha, both civilians and ninja alike, think that Sasuke is the one who saved Wave Country from Gato, that he is the one who defeated Gaara and saved the village when Gaara released the One Tail, and finally, that Sasuke is the main reason behind Doto's defeat and the saving of Princess Koyuki Kazuhana. When the alliances were broken, it was revealed that they were broken because of what happened to Naruto. But the reason behind why all those villages and countries respect Naruto so much was kept quiet by the higher-ups of Konoha. They wanted everyone to believe that Sasuke is the one who saved those countries, while Naruto had nothing to do that, and because of that, Konoha and the Land of Fire have been slowly degrading over the years. At the time of Naruto's death, Konoha was the strongest hidden village in the Yen, while Land of Fire was the most prosperous country, but, after Naruto's death, and the broken alliances, the lack of money because of the decrease in missions, has caused Konoha to fall down on the 3rd place among the 5 great hidden villages, with Cloud and Stone being the 1st and 2nd, and Sand and Mist 4th and 5th. Just like Konoha, who has suffered because of the lack of money as there were less and less missions as the time was passing, Land of Fire was suffering equally from the lack of trade and zero alliances, as everyone has turned their backs on them after the Fire Daimyo has been revealed to have supported Naruto's execution. It was not revealed why he allowed it, but he did, and just like those in Konoha, he is now having problems coming up with the money to run the country. Several months after Naruto's execution, Tsunade suffered a mental breakdown and was sent to a mental institution, while Danzo has been named as the 6th Hokage. Danzo being made a Hokage didn't help Konoha one bit. Instead, it actually made things worse for them, because people from the other countries knew who he was and what his wishes were, so they stayed away from Konoha, but were preparing themselves in case of the invasion by Konoha, which, knowing Danzo, wouldn't have surprised anyone. If Tsunade has stayed the Hokage, the situation would still be bad, but maybe there would be some countries who would be willing to do something to help, since she is actually liked and respected all over the Yen, even by Konoha's enemies. The moment Tsunade had a mental breakdown was the moment the countdown to Konoha's doom has started. No one knows the reason behind Tsunade's mental breakdown, but those who knew her and of her close mother-son relationship with Naruto assumed it was because of what happened to him. To this day, 3 years after Naruto's execution, no one knows why Tsunade went with it and didn't try to stop the execution. In the minds of all of Konoha's citizens, her blank face from when she was standing on top of the execution platform was engraved forever. Many have theorized that she tried to stop the execution, but when the council and daimyo overruled her, she snapped, and only was able to hold herself from going completely under, for a few months, before she finally broke completely. Unfortunately, they weren't sure if it was that, or was it something else, so they just decided to let it go, and learn to live with it. With Danzo as Hokage, he implemented his root program, and made the village more militarized than it was, which led to the other nations also increasing the military power. All of that increase in shinobi in all 5 great nations along with some smaller ones as well, turned the whole yen into a giant bomb, just waiting to explode and send everything straight to hell. As the things are now, all 5 great nations are standing alone, without alliance between 2 of them, like Leaf and Sand used to have alliance until 3 years ago. The fact that they are all standing alone is the reason the great nations haven't started another war, as each country is afraid that if they attack one country, another might use the opportunity to attack them. Of course, none of the great 5 are just sitting around. On top of them increasing their military potential, by increasing the number of ninja as well as train those they already have to reach their maximal potential, they are also trying to make alliances with smaller countries. That wasn't going easy though, because there is mistrust between everyone in the yen, and no country trusts another enough to form alliances, but there are a few exceptions, where alliances are formed not based on trust, but mutual need. One such alliance is between Stone and Sound, where Third Sechikage and Orochimaru have formed alliance in order to build power together, and eventually bring down Cloud and Konoha, and then go after the rest of the yen. The only alliance which was built in the last 3 years, and which didn't have anything with building military power, was the alliance between Sand, Wave and Spring. The alliance was built after they all severed their ties with Konoha, because of what happened to Naruto. It was a respect they all for Naruto, which was a starting point for the meeting between the leaders of the 3 nations, which led to an alliance, which was supposed to better the life for everyone in each of the 3 countries, as each of them had something that the other 2 would want and find beneficial. Other than the 2 alliances, there were some negotiations between some other countries, but nothing was agreed on, as of yet. The closest to reach the agreement for the alliance are Rain Village, Star Village, Waterfall Village and Grass Village, who are trying to form the alliance to battle against the big nations, in case they decide to use their land as the battleground like they did in the past. Rain is secretly led by the Akatsuki, and that was revealed to the other 3 nations during the negotiations. The reason the leader of Akatsuki and the Rain decided to reveal that was so that the other 3 nations would realize how powerful Rain actually is, considering that they have 10 S-rank ninja in the village, which is more than any other village in the elemental nation. If this alliance is made, then it would be the most powerful alliance of all others in the elemental nations, and nothing short of all 5 great hidden villages, allying, would be able to go up against them. To make themselves stronger, and to counter possible alliance between Rain, Star, Waterfall and Grass, Orochimaru sent some of his men to the village hidden in the dreams, to acquire something, which would be powerful enough to make Soundstone Alliance, capable of battling against Akatsuki and the alliance of 4 nations. They were successful, and the 3-headed guardian beast of the Hidden Dreams village was sealed inside one of the members of the Uzumaki clan Orochimaru had as a ninja in his village. The woman, by the name Fuka Uzumaki, has officially become the first ever 3-heads Jinchuriki. To try and combat against the overwhelming power and forces, Rain and their allies, along with Soundstone Alliance, Danzo has sent a team on a mission to retrieve another demon, who was sealed long time ago, and which would give them power to fight back, now that they no longer have Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Konoha, 3 years after Naruto's execution. A team which was sent on a mission to capture and seal a demon known as Morio was Team 7. After Naruto's execution, the relationship between Team 7 members was not what one would expect. In the eyes of the many, Naruto was a menace at best, and a demon at worst, and Kakashi and Sasuke had the same beliefs. In fact, in their eyes, Naruto's only use was to eventually be killed by Sasuke, so he can awaken Mangekyo Sharingan. Kakashi has been pushing the 2 to be friends, for that reason, as he knew that in order for him to awaken Mangekyo, Sasuke would have to kill his best friend, Naruto. To say they were pissed when Naruto said to Sasuke's face during the execution that he was not his best friend, he didn't even consider him as a friend, for that matter, thus denying Sasuke his Mangekyo Sharingan. Since he was denied what he considers his birthright, Sasuke become an even bigger emo than he was, going all over Konoha, demanding everyone he sees and who has some form of power and influence, to train him so he can become strong, and maybe one day find another way to awaken his Mangekyo. Of course, like a good little doggy, Kakashi was following Sasuke everywhere and was spending 90% of his free time training Sasuke, while he spends the remaining 10% of his free time trying to convince other Konoha ninja to also train Sasuke. Kakashi wasn't always successful in his endeavors though. This was because, while regular, no-named ninja would agree to train Sasuke, they have nothing to offer, which Kakashi doesn't already know and can teach Sasuke himself. On the other hand, those more powerful ninja in the village, like Asuma, Guy and Kurenai, refuse to have anything with Sasuke or Kakashi, since they don't like them and consider Sasuke a traitor and comrade killer. They were too smart to believe that Sasuke was kidnapped by Orochimaru's man, and know that the little bastard left on his own accord. The 3 of them were also some of the people in Konoha who had respect for Naruto, and didn't hate him. In the end, Sasuke was left with only Kakashi and Danzo to train him. Danzo did try to threaten Asuma, Guy and Kurenai to train Sasuke, or else. They still refused though, and Danzo couldn't do anything about it, even though he was Hokage. He knew that those 3 are some of the strongest ninja in the village, along with Kakashi, Jiraiya and himself, so losing them just because they refused to train Sasuke was not an option. While Kakashi and Sasuke were on one side, and always together, training, Sakura was left behind to find a way to train herself. Before Naruto's execution, she was planning to ask Tsunade to take her as her own apprentice and teach her medical ninjutsu. Unfortunately, that all went to hell when Naruto was accused of almost killing Sasuke and executed, after which, Tsunade was never the same as before, and soon after she had a mental breakdown, which gave her one-way ticket to asylum. When it comes to what happened to Naruto, Sakura had mixed feelings. She never really liked Naruto, some even though she hated him because of how she treated him over the years, and how many times she hit him over the head. But they were all wrong. Sakura didn't like Naruto, but she didn't hate him either. She was annoyed by him, and thought he was always on the way of her relationship with Sasuke. When Naruto was accused and sentenced to execution, she was surprised, to say the least. She knew that Naruto wasn't liked in the village, but to go as far as to execute him, after he completed his mission, and returned Sasuke back to the village, even though he did beat him up pretty badly, well, she thought that was too much, and that Naruto didn't deserve that. She had mixed feeling, because, while she found Naruto annoying and if he was executed, there would be no one standing in between her and Sasuke, she also didn't want to watch Naruto die. In the end, those mixed feelings, along with Kakashi and Sasuke not paying any attention to her whatsoever, is what strained their team relationship, and eventually led to Sakura going on one side, while Kakashi and Sasuke on the other. They were still members of Team 7 though, and went together on the missions, but outside of the missions, Sakura barely saw her crush, well, more like former crush, and her sensei. Sometime after Naruto's death, and after Danzo became Hokage, he had one of his root agents transferred into Team 7 to replace Naruto, so they can be a full team once again. And while Kakashi and Sasuke didn't care about Sai, they did train with him, on Danzo's orders of course. Sakura didn't like the guy from the first time she laid her eyes on him, and saw his fake smile. She thinks that he is even worse than Naruto, as impossible as that might be. With Naruto, she knew that even though she found him annoying, he would always be there and do anything to protect his comrades, while Sai is an emotionless tool, who comes up with ridiculous and offensive nicknames for people, which is why no one really likes him. On top of that, Sakura feels that Sai would let her die before he tries to save her, while Naruto would risk his life to save, not only her, but all those he thinks of as his friends and comrades. Because Tsunade was unavailable, Sakura ended up convincing Shizen to help her with her training and to learn medical jutsu. Shizen didn't have Tsunade's chakra-enhanced strength, so she couldn't teach that to Sakura, but something is better than nothing, and Sakura knew that if she doesn't train with Shizen and with some of the other medics in the hospital, she would be left behind, and the only thing left for her would be to give up on the life of Kunoichi and go back to being a civilian, and that is something she didn't want to. Team 7 was currently standing in the Hokage office, in front of Danzo, who was seating behind his desk, and was looking at them with one eye, since his other was covered by bandages. On the couch, which was to the side of the office, the two village elders, Hamura and Koharu, were seating and waiting to hear the report from Team 7 about the mission they were sent on. Danzo looked at the four ninja in front of him, and frowned at the looks on their faces. While Sasuke wore a scowl, like he always does, it was the expressions on the faces of the other three that suggested to him that the mission didn't exactly go as planned and wanted. Sai's facial expression was blank, which was unusual to Danzo, because Sai has started to wear that infuriating fake smile ever since he was transferred from Root Program to Team 7. Sakura was trying to normal, but Danzo could see she was nervous, but there was also a hint of curiosity to her face. Kakashi wasn't reading his perverted book, and was almost standing at attention. Danzo could also see that he was nervous, but also slightly scared, though if Danzo had to guess, Kakashi wasn't scared of him, but from something related to the mission he just came back from. Danzo finally decided to stop guessing, and said, "Report." Kakashi walked in front of his students, before he coughed, and said, "The mission to retrieve and seal Morio was a failure. With the golden shine in her eyes, the goddess has turned all 10 Espada, plus Lilinet, into a pure golden energy, which then started to fuse together, forming a golden ball. At first, the ball was quite big, being several meters in diameter, but as the minutes passed, the ball was shrinking in size, while at the same time, was apparently increasing its density, considering that the floor below the ball was cracking from the pressure. Along with the shrinking of the ball, there were also sparks of electricity rolling over the ball. All in all, the picture looks and feels quite scary, and would have made every human and low-class deity shiver in fear from the ominous feeling the ball was exuding. Once the ball was down to about 2 meters in diameter, it stopped shrinking, but the electricity around grew more powerful, while at the same time, cracks started to appear all over the ball. While this was happening, the goddess was calmly standing few meters away from the ball, and looking at it, waiting for the fusion to finish, so that she can see what will come out, as even she is unsure how Naruto will look like after the fusion. One thing she knows for sure though, is that he will be looking at least slightly different than he used to be, before his death. It took 5 minutes for the fusion to be over, and once it was, the ball of golden energy burst into golden light, leaving behind a being of incredible power. The goddess cast a look at the new Naruto, and couldn't help herself as he gained a small red hue on her cheeks. Newly reborn Naruto is a tall, muscular man with light blonde spiky hair and dark blue eyes. He is around 190 centimeters tall, and about 90 kilograms. He wears a black shirt which he keeps partially unzipped around his chest area, along with black pants, black boots and 2 white belts around his waist, with his Zanpakuto sheath on his left side along his top belt, while on both sides of his lower belt, he has 2 gun holsters, with 2 guns in them. He wears white jacket, the same kind as the one worn by Grimmjow. He has a Van Dyke-style beard, and unlike the original Naruto, he no longer has whisker marks on his cheeks, but instead, has 2 black lines on his cheeks, with the top line, being the shortest, is connected to the black pigments around his eyes. Finally, while at that time, Naruto should be around 15 or 16 years old, this new Naruto looks to be around 20 years old. Basically, it's a combination of Grimmjow's hairstyle and attire from 1000 Years Blood War, along with Naruto's Baryon mode face markings, except fox ears and the pigments around his eyes don't go upward, and are only around his eyes and below. Naruto looked at himself as much as he could, without a mirror, and whistled. Damn. I really look good, don't I? And this power I feel. It's incredible. The goddess smiled when she saw Naruto's reaction, and said, Well, you are a combination of 10 Espada. Of course you are powerful. I'd say that right now, you are about as powerful as Aizen was, after he completely fused with Hogyoku. Really? Naruto questioned as he looked at the goddess, who nodded in confirmation. Yes. Which means that at your current power, you could be considered a third most powerful being in your old world. Aizen is your equal, while the 2 more powerful ones are Ichigo Kurosaki, in his transcended form, and the founder of Quincy. Naruto was surprised by this. Especially because Ichigo wasn't that powerful the last time one of his Espada forms saw him, which was when Zaraki and Byakuya showed up to take on Yami. This suggested to him that more time has passed since the death of Espada and their appearance in the heavenly realm than he though. How much time has passed since the death of Espada and their appearance here? Naruto asked. Quite a bit, actually, the goddess said. Time passes differently in between different dimensions. For you, it has been many millennia since the death of the original Naruto, but in your old world, only 3 years has passed. It's the same with this realm. It's been about 2 years since the death of all Espada, and since then, many things have happened in that world, starting with Aizen's defeat at the hands of Ichigo Kurosaki and Kasuke Urahara, and his imprisonment after that. But never mind that now, since that world is no longer important to you, as you are not going back there. Naruto listened to what the goddess was saying and couldn't help himself but show a large grin on his face. He was unbelievably happy because of what happened to Aizen. It's probably because of how much some of his previous forms, like Baragon, for example, hated the damned Shinigami. Then again, Ulquiorra did respect Aizen, along with some others, but majority of the 10 Espada hated Aizen. The goddess saw the grin on Naruto's face, and smiled a little, while also shaking her head. Before I send you back, there is one other thing I must tell you. This drew Naruto's attention, so he was all ears. I will be sending you back into your old world, the goddess said, but Naruto already knew that. Instead of interrupting her with a question, he waited to hear what else she has to say. But I will also be sending you back in time. You will appear in that world on the same day of Naruto's execution, though you will not appear in Konoha, but somewhere else. Naruto looked at her with a confused look on her face. Why? I'm assuming you mean, why am I sending you back in time, instead of just sending you at the current time? The goddess questioned, and Naruto nodded. That's because I'm hoping that you will actually save the Ien from total destruction, and sending you back will give you more time to do that, and save some people who didn't deserve to die. Naruto looked at the goddess with narrowed eyes for a little while, before he shook his head. Do as you wish. But I wouldn't get my hopes too high. I hate nearly every human being in the Ien, and I doubt I'll do much to save them. You say that now, the goddess said with a slight smile on her face. But when you find yourself in a situation where you have to choose between saving an innocent life, or watching them die, then your resolve will be truly tested, and then you will see that you are not as cold-blooded and murderous as you might believe. Naruto decided to change the subject and asked, Tell me about my powers. I feel different than I felt when I was human, but I also don't feel like a hollow either. So what am I right now? The goddess thought about Naruto's question for a moment, before she said, Technically, you are a human/hollow hybrid. She saw a confused look on Naruto's face, so she explained better. As you have probably noticed by now, you no longer have a hollow hole, nor the remnants of the hollow mask. Naruto nodded. That means that you are not a pure hollow. You are more like Ichigo Kurosaki and the other Vizards, yet still not the same, since they are Shinigami and human, with hollow infection. You are a human with inherited hollow power. Naruto thought about it for a minute, before it came to him. So, basically, I'm like a product of one parent being human, and the other a pure hollow? The goddess nodded with a smile. That's the best way to explain it. Naruto looked at his hands for a few moments, and then asked, So which powers do I have? I can feel Bother Chakra and Riryoku, but which of the powers I had as Espada do I still have? The goddess shrugged. Pretty much all of them except Resurrection. You are not a full Aaronkar class hollow, but a hybrid, which means you don't have Resurrection. On top of that, you have your full power at your disposal, with none of it sealed inside of the sword or anywhere else, which means there is no need for a Resurrection. Of course, you can power up by releasing more of your Riryoku. Naruto rose his eyebrows in confusion before he cast a look at his sword, which reminded him too much of Ichigo's Bankai sword, though different colored and was inside of a sheath. He also cast a look at the 2 pistols. Then what's up with these weapons? Where did they come from and why do I have them? Remember when I was showing you the day of your execution? The goddess questioned, and Naruto scowled, as he was reminded of that. He didn't answer, but the goddess knew he remembered, so she continued. You saw how after your soul broke, the necklace which Tsunade gave you also broke into 10 pieces. Naruto nodded, as he remembered seeing that as well, though he didn't know why that happened. Well, the necklace broke into 10 pieces, just like your soul, and those pieces basically joined with pieces of your soul. Over time, they would become Zanpakuto-s, each Espada was carrying. Naruto's eyes widened. You mean to tell me that the weapons Espada were using for so long were made out of pieces of a necklace? The goddess nodded. That necklace meant a lot to you, just like Tsunade did. Even though you didn't have it for too long, there was still a bond, which is why the necklace broke after your death, and the pieces tied themselves with your soul pieces. Naruto shook his head. This is getting ridiculous, and really hard to believe, he said. It might be a little bit hard to believe, the goddess said. But it's the truth. But anyway. Now that you are fused back together, all the weapons Espada had, fused as well, but not into a necklace or into one weapon, but instead, into 2 different weapons. A sword, made out of 5 pieces of the necklace. And the 2 sibling guns, made from the other 5 pieces. The reason they became a sword and a gun is because all of the Espada were using swords, before they go into Resurrection. It is something in common with all of them, which means that of all the weapons it could have turned into, you have the most experience with swords, unlike with scythes and axes, which were only used by 2 parts of your soul. The guns were also only used by Stark, but he was the strongest of Espada, not counting Yami's Resurrection form, so you have more skills with guns than with scythe and axe. Do you understand now? She asked at the end of her explanation. Yes, I understand, Naruto said, while looking at his weapons. But why the sword looks like Ichigo Kurosaki's Bankai blade, only white instead of black? Honestly, I have no idea, the goddess said, making Naruto face fault. How can you not know? Naruto asked. Weren't you the one who fused me and my weapons? Yes, she said. I did fuse you. But it wasn't me who decided which weapons you are to have, nor was I who decided what they will look like. Maybe the sword looks like that, because Espada, who fought against Ichigo, found it to be interesting, so your subconscious made it like that. Naruto thought about it, and realized that it might be the case. Ichigo has fought more Espada than anyone else, and 2 Espada were defeated by him, so it is possible that those parts of him wanted to have a blade similar to the one they lost to. Naruto sighed. Now what? As I said. Now I will send you back in time, to the same day you originally died, but to a place a little away from Konoha. The goddess said. Why that particular place? Naruto asked. Wherever it is, there is someone there, who will die, unless you save her, the goddess said, and Naruto groaned. Again with this saving stuff, he said, while shaking his head. Naruto then looked at the goddess and asked. Why do you want me to save this person? Because she is your family. The goddess said, and Naruto's eyes went wide in disbelief. The original you always wanted a family, and while you are very different now than you were back then, I know that deep down, you still want family and someone to be there for you, and not always be alone. Naruto was quiet. He was standing there in the heavenly realm, thinking about everything he heard from the goddess ever since she brought Espada to her realm, and everything he learned after she fused them all to recreate him. It is clear to him that she wants him to save the Ien, that much is obvious, otherwise, she wouldn't have even bothered to recreate him and send him back. Now, while he is thankful that the goddess was giving him a new chance in life, Naruto couldn't just let go of everything that he has been through while he was living in the inn. All the loneliness, pain, suffering. It was too much, and he wants revenge, but the goddess wants him to save those fools who live in the inn. So basically, Naruto doesn't know what to do, especially now that he knows that he has at least one member of his family still alive, and that, whoever she is, will die unless he saves her. Naruto groaned and thought in his head. Fuck. Naruto was standing in the middle of the forest, not that far from Konoha as he thought he will be. All around him, there are trees, lying on the ground, most of them completely destroyed while some, relatively undamaged, except they were ripped out from the roots. Naruto was standing on one of those trees, and was looking down at the girl, who was apparently his cousin, and who he is supposed to save. It just had to be her, Naruto said to himself. And how the hell is she still alive? It's been around 3 days since her battle with Shikamaru, and I'm assuming, Temari, judging by the damage done to the forest, which can only be done by a very powerful wind-type jutsu. He sighed, and then jumped down from the destroyed tree, right next to the girl's upper body. Her lower was buried under the trees, which have fallen on her legs and most definitely crush them into oblivion. I doubt there is a single unbroken bone in her lower body. Naruto commented to himself. The goddess was right, she's probably only alive because she is in a coma. She would have died from the pain if she was conscious. Naruto kneeled next to the girl and looked at her for a few minutes, thinking if it would be better to just let her die, instead of going through with what the goddess told him. Flashback. Tell me, Naruto asked just before the goddess was about to send him back. How am I supposed to save this girl, whoever she is? I'm not a medic, and none of Espada had skills to heal others. They could only regenerate themselves. You need to understand, Naruto, that you are different than the Espada were, the goddess said. All of your powers, which Espada had, are now joined and amplified. Because of the high-speed regeneration, you are now virtually immortal, as you can regenerate yourself even if the only thing left of you is a single cell. This was a news and a big surprise for Naruto, as he didn't think that his high-speed regeneration would now be that powerful. Of all the Espada, Ulquiorra had the best high-speed regeneration, and even he had his limits, as he couldn't regenerate his brain and other internal organs. But now, with all Espada joined back into the original Naruto, his HSR went off the charts. What does that have to do with healing the girl? Naruto asked. Unlike the Espada who could only regenerate themselves, your blood now has the capabilities of transformation, the goddess said, and Naruto was utterly confused, which was shown on his face. He had no idea what she was talking about. Your blood can transform humans into human/hollow hybrid, just like you are, the goddess finally said, making Naruto's eyes bug out of their sockets. You cannot be serious, Naruto said. I am, the goddess confirmed. So you actually want me to turn her into a human/hollow hybrid? Naruto questioned. Why would I do that? And did you even ask yourself what would she want? Would she want to simply die, or be turned into partial monster? She wants to live, Naruto, the goddess sighed. She fought for 6 days, trying to survive, and unconsciously hoping that someone would find her and rescue her. After 6th day, she finally died. She was in a coma, all time, which is one of the reasons she lasted for so long, but as I said, even thought she was in coma, she fought to last as long as possible. As for the part of her becoming a partial monster, as you put it, I don't think she would want that. But if she was to be given the option of choosing between death or life as something more than a human, then I'm sure she would choose the latter. Naruto shook his head and sighed. How exactly are this girl and I related? You never said that. She is half Uzumaki, just like you, the goddess said, while Naruto rose his eyebrows. Your mother was from the Uzumaki clan, while your father was Konoha's 4th Hokage. Naruto's eyes bugged out again. The goddess then went and explained to Naruto the history of the Uzumaki clan, and what caused their ending. She then went and told him what happened on the night of his birth, and why the 9 tails ended up sealed inside of him. By then, Naruto was pissed beyond belief. Not only because of what happened to his mother's clan, but because his father is the village hero, while he was treated like garbage, and even executed for doing his mission. How many times has he asked the third about his parents, only for the old bastard to tell him how he doesn't know who they were, and that Naruto shouldn't pay that much attention to finding out, as there is no point, since, if they are dead, then they are dead, and nothing will change if he finds out who they were. But if they are still alive, then that would mean that they abandoned him. The old man said that sometimes, some things are better left unknown. Damn you, Sarutobi, Naruto raged in his head. Damn you, Konoha! Damn you all to hell! Flashback end. Naruto woke up from his memories, and then decided to just finish this off already and go to find someplace where he and Tayuya can stay for a little while. He bit his right thumb, drawing blood, before he moved the hand above Tayuya's slightly open mouth, and let a single drop of it fall into her mouth. Tayuya felt like she was starting to regain her consciousness. Up until now, all she felt was like she was floating into an endless space, where, outside of the fact she knew she was there, she didn't have any other senses. This has gone for what felt like eternity to her. But then, she felt a sudden warmth which spread around her body. Before she felt excruciating pain, unlike any she has felt before, and she was given the curse seal by Orochimaru. Because of the pain, she finally lost the grip she had on her conscious, and blacked out completely. She has no idea how long it's been since that moment, but now, she can feel herself lying on something soft. She thought it must be a bed. She could also hear some noise in the background, though it wasn't so loud as to be annoying. Finally, she felt that there is something different about her, she just didn't know what it was. She opened her eyes slowly, as to adjust to the light, and because she was in a coma for a few days, which made her feel very tired and sluggish. Through the bleary sight, she looked around, trying to figure out where she was. The first thing she noticed is that she was in a normal-looking room, and lying on the bed, as she previously thought. Then, she realized that this is not one of the rooms in Orochimaru's lair, as they are all underground and thus dark, while the room she is in has a small window, which is letting a good amount of sunlight enter it. Before Tayuya could see anything else in the room, which would help her figure out where she is, she heard a voice. I see you are finally awake, the voice said, startling Tayuya in the process, and making her look toward where it came from. It's about time. It was getting boring just sitting here. The voice has instantly cleared her eyesight, thus, allowing Tayuya to see Naruto, who was currently seating on an armchair, across from the bed she was lying on. The moment her eyes laid on Naruto, and she took in his form and smirking face, she blushed heavily. This didn't escape Naruto, whose smirk widened. Oh, is little Tayuya blushing just from seeing little old me? Naruto teased Tayuya, whose blush widened for a moment, before her eyes flared in rage. Shut up, you cocksucker, Tayuya exploded at Naruto. And who the hell are you? Naruto's smirk vanished in an instant, only to be replaced by a scowl and narrowed eyes. The look on his face made Tayuya recoil a little in fright. Listen to me carefully, Tayuya, Naruto said in even voice, not projecting any anger whatsoever, but Tayuya knew better than to assume he is not angry. Orochimaru and your old buddies might have tolerated your foul language, but I will not. Do you understand? Naruto's words were laced with power, which scared the shit out of Tayuya, who nodded her head vigorously. Naruto's calm tone and the threat reminded Tayuya far too much of Orochimaru, and she knew better than to anger Orochimaru, otherwise she will find herself on an experiment table. With Naruto on the other hand, she doesn't know what to expect, so potentially, he is even worse than Orochimaru, especially since she can feel the power rolling off of him in waves and pressing on her whole body. It was suffocating. Tayuya gulped, and then politely asked, being careful not to utter some foul word, or who knows what might happen. Who are you? Where am I? And what happened to me? Naruto looked Tayuya in the eyes for a few moments before he sighed. You can call me Alessandro Stark here, Tayuya interrupted him. Is that your real name? She asked because it sounded strange to her that Naruto said, you can call me, instead of just saying my name is. No, Naruto simply said, and Tayuya gave him a deadpan look. My real name is not important, so as I said, call me Alessandro Stark. We are currently in an inn, in a small town, not far from where I found you. As for what happened to you, well, you got your ass handed to you by the heir of the Nara clan, and the daughter of the late 4th Kazekage. They almost killed you, and you would have died if I didn't find you and saved you. When Naruto said what happened to her, Tayuya's memories resurfaced, and she remembered the battle she was in against the Shadow Bastard, before that sand whore joined in and blew her with that thrice-damned wind jutsu of hers. The last thing she remembered was the unbelievable pain in her legs, which at that point were pressed under the several tons of weight from the trees which were destroyed by Tamari's wind jutsu. She remembered how she used most of the chakra she had left and redirected it into her heart and brain, leaving barely anything for the rest of her body. This has almost completely shut down the rest of her body, though. She did that in order to survive as long as possible, and hope that someone will find her and save her from dying. Apparently, someone did find her. Tayuya then looked at herself, and at her legs, which she can move normally. In fact, she felt so good that if she didn't know better, she would have thought that nothing happened to her, and that it was all a dream. How are my legs all healed? Tayuya asked. They were buried under that rubble of trees, and there is no way to heal something like that. Not even Orochimaru's former teammate, Tsunade Senju, would be able to heal my legs. Naruto smirked a little. I never said I healed you, did I? This made Tayuya even more confused and made her want to rage and swear to hell and back, but managed to hold her tongue. Then who did? She asked. You weren't healed, Tayuya, Naruto said. You were reconstructed. What the fuck does that mean? Tayuya shouted before she realized that she swore, and clapped her hand over her mouth, while looking at Naruto's narrowed eyes, with her wide and fearful ones. Naruto decided to forget about her slip-up, and focused on explaining to Tayuya what he did to her, and what she is right now. It took him a few minutes, but Naruto was finally finished with his explanation, and was now looking at Tayuya, who had a blank look on her face. The silence lasted for about 5 minutes, before Tayuya took a deep breath, and looked at Naruto. So, what am I right now? You are just like me, Naruto said. Half human, half hollow. Because of that, you now have 2 forms of power. One is chakra, while the other is called Riryoku. As such, you need training to be able to separate them and use them, since ninja techniques wouldn't work if you mix Riryoku into them by accident. The same goes for hollow techniques, which won't work with chakra. Do you understand? Tayuya nodded, confirming that she understood, though she was having a hard time believing in everything Naruto, or Alessandro, as he doesn't want to tell her his real name, has told her. Tayuya has always thought that the world she knew is very big and that there is already too much unbelievable stuff in it, so there is no way that there is something even more unbelievable. Right, she was wrong, and now she knows about it. She did wonder if there is someone else in the inn, who actually knows about everything that Naruto told her, or are the 2 of them the only of their kind and the only ones who know about soul reapers and hollows, in all the inn. She also wondered about how Alessandro became what he is, since that is something he didn't tell her, and refuses to tell her. At least for now. Tayuya sighed, and looked at Naruto. What now? We are staying here until tomorrow, so that you can get used to your new self, Naruto said, and then, we are heading to Tanzakagai, so that I can make some money. Tayuya looked at Naruto with raised eyebrows, and asked. Why Tanzakagai? What do you actually do to get money? You never mentioned that, and I doubt you are a ninja affiliated with any village. I was affiliated to a village until not that long ago, Naruto said, surprising Tayuya as he said that. But I'm not anymore, which means that I need to get money however I can, especially now that you are with me. The money I used to pay for this room was the money I liberated from the corpses of some bandits I run into on the way here, Naruto said with a straight face, making Tayuya shudder because of how cold he sounded when he said that. I divided that money in 2 groups. One for the food and other expenses for the next 2 weeks, while 2 more weeks worth of money I will use inside of some gambling halls in Tanzakagai. But why gamble what little money you have? Tayuya asked. There is no way for you to know that you will actually make some money in the gambling houses and not lose everything. Why not keep it, and we can search for some rogue ninja for bounties? That might take a while, Naruto said. We don't even know where to begin to look, and how long it will take. On the other hand, I'm very lucky when it comes to gambling. I guess you can say that all the bad luck I had in life was balanced by the good luck I had in gambling. Also, it will take a while for you to learn to control your new powers. And until that happens, I don't want you to battle against anyone and risk dying, after I went through the trouble of all but reviving you. Tayuya was taken aback by Naruto's words, as she didn't think he actually cares about her. Then again, he did mention during his earlier explanation that they are cousins, as he is half Uzumaki, just like she is. Fine, she finally said. I need you to do something for me, before we leave this place though. Naruto rose his eyebrows in interest. What do you need? He asked. Orochimaru has spies everywhere, she said. Which is why I need a disguise to hide my face, so that he won't find out that I'm alive, since I'm assuming he thinks I'm dead, as I have never returned to Sound Village, and he can feel the curse mark on all those he placed it on. Now that it is gone, after the reconstruction, he will most definitely think I'm dead, but it's still better to hide for a while, just in case. I wouldn't worry about Orochimaru, if I were you, Naruto said. He won't be able to get to you, without going through me first. But if you wish to hide for a while, then I will try to find you something else to wear, and some mask for your face. Tayuya was very surprised by the fact that Alessandro doesn't seem to be afraid of Orochimaru. She knew exactly how powerful the snake pedo is, and as such, is wondering if Alessandro is not afraid because he is that strong, or because he is severely overestimating himself, and underestimating Orochimaru. Whichever of the two is, she is sure that one day, maybe even very soon, she will find out. She can only hope that Alessandro really is as strong as he makes himself to be, because if he isn't, and Orochimaru gets his hands on her, well, she would rather die than end up as an experiment for Orochimaru and his buddy, Kabuto. With their conversation finished for now, Naruto left to get some food for Tayuya, since she hasn't eaten anything in nearly 5 days, and is probably starving. Tayuya stayed in bed, as Naruto told her not to get up for a little while longer, to allow her body to adjust to the changes, and went through. More than 2 months has passed since Naruto saved Tayuya, and the two of them became traveling companions. While the two of them are cousins, they have been pretty much alone their entire lives, with no real family whatsoever, as Naruto's have died on the same night he was born, while Tayuya was too young when his parents died, so she barely has any memories of them. Because of this, their agreement is that for now, they are going to be traveling companions, while their relationship is going to be friends, and student and teacher type of relationship. During the last 2 months, Naruto didn't change much, and was still the same. Tayuya, on the other hand, well, she has changed a lot, starting with the outfit that Naruto commissioned to be made for her. That day when Naruto went to get some food for himself and Tayuya, he also went and found a tailor, in the small town they were in. There, he found the material he wanted the outfit to be made of, and then, much to the confusion of the tailor, he drew the type of outfit he wants to be made for Tayuya. He also told the tailor the exact size for each piece of the suit, as he has apparently been able to size Tayuya up. The ability to draw and size people up is something Naruto got from Sailor. Naruto was happy that there was a part of him which turned out to be very smart, because drawing and sizing people up in any way, shape and form, was not something he was good at while he was still alive and a citizen of the Leaf Village. Maybe that's one of the reasons he ended up on the execution platform. When Tayuya saw the finished outfit that Naruto ordered to be made for her, she almost blew her fuse, because the outfit is, well, in one word, perverted. She calmed down after a while, after Naruto was able to convince her that that outfit is going to make her sexy, which, deep down, she had nothing against, and will also help her in the battle, as even though it is not made to protect her body, it will serve as a distraction during a battle against guys. The reason Naruto had Tayuya's outfit as he did, is because he wanted it to be similar to his, so he remembered the kind of outfits the female Arancars used to wear, while he was in Hueco Mundo, and picked the one he thought would be best suited for Tayuya. Right now, Naruto and Tayuya were walking along the road, while all around them, there were fields, which people use for cultivating food. There were also small mountains and hills here and there. While Naruto looks as he did after the resurrection, Tayuya now has her hair in 2 pigtails, which reach down her back, and has an Oni mask on her face, hiding it from everyone's sight. Tayuya's uniform includes a short, frilled skirt, white half-sleeves worn from the elbows down to the wrists, and what appears to be thigh-length black-colored, white outline boots. She wears white bracelets on her arms, and she also wears a white-colored, black-outlined material that ties around her neck, which reveals a fair portion of her stomach as well as her chest. Basically, her uniform looks like lowly Avern's. Strapped on Tayuya's right hip is a simple katana, which Naruto bought for her, so he can teach her kenjutsu. After the transformation into a human/hollow hybrid, Tayuya didn't get any weapon, unlike Naruto. But Naruto doesn't actually know if she will develop some special power over time and gain some weapon, which is why he bought her a sword. There is a chance that if she awakens some powers, she will get another type of weapon, and not a sword. But if that happens, then Naruto will try to teach her how to use it. While they were walking down the road, Naruto asked, "Remind me, why are we here in the Rice Country, when this is the land where Orochimaru's lair is? And you specifically said that you don't want to go anywhere near him, thus, the mask on your face." Tayuya looked at Naruto and groaned. "Didn't you say that you planned to revive the Uzumaki clan, one day, and to rebuild the land of whirlpools?" she asked him, and Naruto nodded. "Well, if you plan to rebuild the village, you need people who will live in it, which is why we are here, and there are people here who are willing to join us?" Naruto questioned. "Yes," Tayuya said. "There is a clan here, which was quite famous a while ago, but have, over time, fallen out of favor, so to say, and were surpassed by many other clans from other villages. The clan split into two factions where some of their most powerful members were tricked by Orochimaru, who promised to restore their clan's status, and were used in his kenjutsu development experiments. The other faction became involved in criminal activity, and were considered traitors by the rest of the clan." "Let me get this straight," Naruto said. "You want me to invite criminals to join the village I plan to build?" "When you put it like that it does sound strange and stupid," Tayuya said. "But you need to understand that those criminals didn't have much of a choice. The land of rice paddies is not like the land of fire, or some other countries. The daimyo is corrupt and power-hungry, and even before Orochimaru came, people have suffered here. In fact, the reason Orochimaru even built a hidden village here is because of how power and money-hungry the daimyo is. Just like with the Fuma clan, Orochimaru promised him everything the daimyo wanted to hear, and was allowed to build a village. Of course, Orochimaru never intended to keep his word in the first place, and plans to dispose of the daimyo when the time is right. The faction of the Fuma clan which didn't join Orochimaru didn't have anything else to do but to resort to stealing, thievery, blackmail and such. They can't survive in any other way, except to be criminals, or to pack up and move to another country, and even that wouldn't be easy, because if they are caught by Orochimaru's man, or daimyo's samurai, they would be declared traitors, and then they would be executed, at best, or taken by Orochimaru for experimenting, at worst." Naruto groaned. "Why am I even going through with this?" he murmured slowly. "I should just wipe out the inn, and be done with this shit." Even though he was talking quietly, Naruto's words were heard by Tayuya, whose eyes widened for a moment, before she looked at him with both curiosity and fear in her eyes. Naruto saw the look in her eyes, and realized that she heard him, which made him groan again, and shake his head a little. "Fine," Naruto said. "We will go and have a talk with whoever is the head of that clan. After that, we will see what happens." Tayuya nodded her head, and looked ahead of herself, but she was deep in thought about what she heard Naruto say. What was that all about? Would he really destroy all of the inn? Can he even do that? From then on, the two of them continued to walk in silence. Naruto and Tayuya found themselves standing in front of the gate, surrounding the town if it can even be called that, and not a wasteland of rundown houses and barely any people. "So this is the place where the remnants of the Fuma clan live at," Naruto commented as he looked at the town, through the open gate. "Not much of a place, is it?" Tayuya sighed. "Unfortunately, many of the towns in the land of rice paddies are like this. This country was a home to many shinobi clans, who had been used in a hopeless war, with the clans suffering heavily. Members of the Fuma clan are not the only ones who joined Orochimaru. Many of the surviving clans have joined Orochimaru, lured by his power to help them revive their clans. With most of the ninja clans now being in Sound Village, the rest of the towns are only left with civilians, and barely any ninja, which caused an even greater poverty than there was before. If there are so many clans here in this land, then why did you only want me to invite Fuma clan to join my village, and not members of some other clans?" Naruto asked. "Because there are barely any left of all those clans," Tayuya said. "As I said, majority of the ninja clans from the land of rice paddies have perished in the wars between each other, and what was left has joined Orochimaru and his Sound Village. Few who didn't join Orochimaru don't have a fixed location, as far as I know. They are constantly on the run because they know that sooner or later, Orochimaru will come after them, and once he does, he will not give them a choice to join his forces as a ninja, but will use them in his sick experiments. And that is something nobody wants, trust me on that." Naruto homed, before he looked away from Tayuya, and to the town. "Let's see what we can do with the Fuma clan, and then we can continue to talk about Orochimaru's forces. I'm really curious to find out how powerful his village and forces are, and what kind of experiments he is performing in that hole." "Wait," Tayuya called after Naruto, as he was about to pass through the gate and enter into the town. Hearing Tayuya's call, Naruto stopped, and turned around to look at her, with raised eyebrows. What? He asked. I never said that the Fuma clan is in this town, Tayuya said with a sweat drop on her face. When he heard what Tayuya said, Naruto narrowed his eyes and glared at her. Tayuya flinched, and looked away from Naruto. If they are not here, Naruto spoke in a low tone of voice. Then where are they, and why are we here if they are not? Well, Tayuya tried to say, but the glare she was getting from Naruto was sending shivers through her body. You see, there is still about 2 days of walking until we reach the town where the Fuma clan is, so I thought that, since it's already nearing the end of the day, we should make a stop here, and sleep indoors, instead of camping out. Naruto continued to look at Tayuya with narrowed eyes for a little while, making her squirm under his gaze. After about a minute, he sighed, and said, Fine. But next time, tell me your plans a little bit earlier. I don't like surprises. Do you understand? Tayuya nodded quickly, and then followed after Naruto as they both passed through the gate. Naruto and Tayuya were walking down the dusty road, in what looked like an abandoned town. All around them were mostly ruined houses, with some of them completely ruined and uninhabitable, and barely few of them can be used for anything. As they were walking, they noticed that there are some people in the town, but they were all hiding behind the walls of the houses, so that they wouldn't be noticed. That would have worked on normal civilians and low-level ninja, but Naruto and Tayuya were none of the two, so they noticed them even before they passed through the town's gate. Is there even a place where we can spend the night, in this dump? Naruto asked with a frown. Well, I don't really know, Tayuya admitted. I've never really been here, and only heard about this place and several others like this one, throughout the land of rice paddies. Naruto sighed again. Let's just see in that place over there. Naruto pointed to one of the less rundown places in the town. The two of them soon found themselves passing through the door of the house, only to see that it is not a house at all, but instead, a bar, or at least it looks like a bar from the inside. Naruto and Tayuya stood at the inside of the bar, and were looking at the place they just entered. All they could see is that the place doesn't look much better than the rest of the town, and that the only people inside are several women, all but one of which are looking to be in their 20s, while the last one, the one of the two who are standing behind the bar counter, seems to be middle-aged. Well, hello there, strangers, the oldest woman in the bar said as soon as she saw Naruto and Tayuya. Would you look at these two, said the woman with red hair, who was seating on one of the seats next to another woman with purple hair. They sure look interesting, said the purple-haired woman. Though I'm getting bad wide from them, she frowned. There is just something strange about them, and I'm not talking about their cloths. Naruto and Tayuya looked at each other, and both sighed. Let's sit down, and see what they have to offer, Tayuya suggested. It's not like there is something better to do, and we can ask about accommodations, while getting some food at the same time. Naruto shrugged, and walked toward one of many free booths, and sat down, with Tayuya seating right next to him. They ordered some food as soon as the oldest woman in the joint came and asked what they want. After that, they ate, as much as possible, since the food is nothing special, but at least it's better than one would think after they see how the place looks like. Hey, Naruto called to the lady who works in the bar, and she approached them. How may I be of help? She asked with a wide smile, which Naruto and Tayuya noticed right away is full of greed and is only there to make customers drop their pants, so to say, after which, both Naruto and Tayuya knew nothing good would happen. We are wondering if there is an inn or something like that in this town, so we can spend the night. Naruto questioned. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any inn or hotel in this town, the woman frowned. But I'm sure I can find something that would suit you. She was again wearing a large smile on her face. But while I look for a place for you to stay, would you be interested in some fun with our ladies over there? Naruto and Tayuya looked at the woman with raised eyebrows, not believing what they were being asked. The two then looked at each other, before Naruto said, Sorry, but I'm not interested. The woman raised an eyebrow, as she was surprised that Naruto would so quickly dismiss her offer. She tried to remember when was the last time a male entered into her joint, and refused the services of one or more of her girls. She failed to remember after a full minute of trying. Tayuya was also surprised that Naruto refused to have some fun with the whores in this town, but then she remembered that they have been traveling together for about 2 months, and even though she is wearing an extremely sexy outfit, Naruto never even once looked at her in an inappropriate way. It made her wonder if Naruto might actually be homosexual. She looked over him, and sighed, damn, that would be a waste of a good man, if he turns out to be gay. Tayuya thought in her head. The bar owner shrugged eventually, and turned around, before she went to the bar counter, and took a check. She went back to the booth, and handed it to Naruto, who took one look at the check, and immediately noticed that it has a whole lot of zeros more than it should. You know, Naruto said, drawing the attention of everyone in the bar. I was expecting that someone would try to rip me off in this place, but at least I was thinking they will try to be subtle about it. This, on the other hand, this is ridiculous. Naruto then lifted his eyes from the check, and looked at the woman who gave it to him, with a look in his eyes, which almost made her piss herself in fear. 15 minutes later, Naruto and Tayuya were walking away from the small rundown town. Naruto had a scowl on her face, while Tayuya was just looking at the ground in front of her, as she was walking few steps behind Naruto. I'm sorry, Tayuya mumbled as she was walking. Naruto stopped for a moment, and looked at her. What for? He asked. For bringing you here, she replied. We should have just slept outside and then continued to search for the Fuma clan in the morning. Naruto looked at Tayuya without saying anything, for about a minute, before he sighed. Don't worry about it, he said. Thought next time, warn me about your plans in advance. Okay. Tayuya said with a slight smile on her face, before the two continued to walk. They walked for another minute, before Naruto suddenly stopped, turned around and looked back at the village, from the top of the hill he and Tayuya were currently on. You know what, Naruto said? I think this is a perfect opportunity to show you another technique, which all Isenkar can use. Tayuya looked at Naruto with wide eyes in disbelief. What? Now. Here. She shouted. Yes, Naruto said. That town is an eyesore, I should do something about it. Don't you think? Without waiting for Tayuya to say anything, Naruto jumped up into the air, and stood on air. He motioned to Tayuya to come near him, and she did, so now, they were both standing on air, outside of the rundown town, filled with scum of the earth. The technique I will show you is called Siro, Naruto said. Now, there are several variations of Siro. There is normal Siro, which can be used by all hollows from Julian class and above, then there are many different variations, all depending on the user, and can only be used by that user. For example, you might achieve a variation of Siro which is unique to you, and which I won't be able to use. I have several of those though, and you wouldn't be able to use them, so I won't bother to teach them to you. Finally, there is Grand Ray Siro, which could only be used by the strongest Isenkars. Right now, you are not at the level where you could use it, but one day, you might be, so I will show it to you, so that you could see what you will be able to do if you reach a certain level of power. Tayuya just stood on air, and carefully listened to what Naruto was saying. She didn't want to miss anything, since she was excited to learn this new technique, especially since she has already learned several others, and was over the moon, with how good they are, and how powerful she got in just 2 months of training with those techniques. Any other Siro can be fired without much preparations or trouble. Naruto started to speak again, while at the same time, he bit the thumb of his right hand. But with Grand Ray Siro, you actually need to infuse a little bit of your blood, for it to work. Sort of like a summoning jutsu. Do you understand? Tayuya nodded, so Naruto continued. After that, you push the hand with the blood on it, forward, and put your fingers in a way that they are all bent slightly and the tips pointing straight. Then you push Riryoku in front of that hand, and form it into a ball from here. Naruto just formed a blue orb of destruction, with the middle of it being whitish. The ball was spinning like a razor as it compresses and decompresses due to the sheer speed and raw power of it. Once the ball was finally ready, Naruto fired it at the middle of the town. Tayuya watched in shock and horror, as the ball hit the ground in the middle of the town, and exploded, causing an explosion of catastrophic proportion, which completely engulfed the town in a giant dome of blue and white energy of destruction. The dome must have been a kilometer in height, and has engulfed not only the town, but the large portion of the surrounding area. Even outside of the dome, there was destruction, as the ground broke, and deep trenches have been forming and spreading far into the distance. The trees have been uprooted and were set flying all over the area, from the shockwave, and many trees have fallen into the trenches, whose bottom can't even be seen by Naruto and Tayuya, who were high into the air and above the dome. When it was all over, the results of the destruction were greater than if the Ninetales has thrown a tailed beast bomb on this place, where once stood a town, which can be considered a scar on the face of the earth. Now there is no reason for consideration because there really is a scar on the face of the earth. The crater which was created by the explosion looks like it's probably around 5 kilometers in radius and almost 200 meters in depth. Around the crater, there were many cracks in the ground, which seemed to go forever in both length and depth. The surrounding forest has been almost completely obliterated by the force of the explosion, and Tayuya, who was looking at the destruction, could have sworn that some of the hills have actually decreased in height, as if they have sunk underground for a few meters. Tayuya looked away from the ground, and toward Naruto, with eyes wide opened in disbelief, fear, awe and every other sort of emotion one can think of. She immediately noticed a frown on Naruto's face, and it made her wonder, why the hell is he frowning? She also couldn't help but think about all the people who were in the town, and who were just completely obliterated by Naruto. She wondered if Naruto even feels some guilt by killing all of those people, and if they have truly deserved to die like this, even though they were criminals. The look on Naruto's face, though, didn't seem like the look on the face of the one who feels any sort of guilt whatsoever. Naruto homed. This is not nice. He then pulled his sword from the sheet, and pointed it upwards, toward the sky. The moment Tayuya saw Naruto pull out his sword, she almost had a heart attack, because this is the first time she actually saw him pull out that sword, and it made her wonder what kind of destruction can he cause with it, if he can change landscapes with his bare hands. Suddenly, Naruto's sword was surrounded in light blue color, and then there was a stream of water flying over the sword, and coiling around like a serpent. Cascada! Naruto said, and brought the sword downward toward the crater. The water followed after the sword, and a huge pillar of water rushed down and struck into the crater, before it started to flow around and fill the crater. Once it reached the trenches, it started to fill them as well. Naruto held this for about a minute, during which he has created millions of gallons of water, which has filled the crater in trenches, thus creating an artificial lake and several dozen rivers connected to the lake. Naruto smirked at his handiwork and resheathed his sword before he looked at Tayuya's dumbfounded face. "What?" he asked with a small smirk on his face. "What the hell are you?" Tayuya asked. Naruto's smirk widened for a moment before he said, "I'm no different than you are. You will realize that soon enough." Naruto then came back down to the ground, followed by Tayuya, and the two of them continued on their way toward the town where Fuma clan is currently living. As they were walking, Naruto cast a look at two different places, where he has noticed that there are some people, and while he recognized the chakra signatures of one group, as belonging to those women from the bar, who have run away after he disposed of the brutes they summoned to rob him, he didn't recognize the chakra signature of the lone person who was on the other side of the road, hiding behind some bush. He was tempted for a second to kill all of them, so that they won't blab about what happened here to anyone, but in the end, he decided not to do it, and let them live. For now anyway. Naturally, the destruction that Naruto caused has brought ninja from the Sound Village to see what happened. Since they were the closest, the ninja from Sound arrived near the new artificial lake the day after Naruto and Tayuya left. But in the end, news travels fast, and in the next few days, there will be people from other hidden villages who will show up to see what happened. The ninja from the Sound who showed up to investigate what happened in the small rural town were a bald man with long spider-like limbs. He also had very thick eyebrows and a scar on his right eye. His name is Jigimo. The second man, who seems to be coming out from the ground, and only has the upper half of his body visible, is a grotesque, hunchbacked man with buck teeth and shoulder-length, black hair. His name is Kajiro. The third man, whose name is Kamakiri, had short smooth black hair and dark-colored eyes. He also had thick eyebrows. He wore a short-sleeved brown shirt with a maroon-colored line running down to the end of the shirt on the right side, a black pair of fingerless gloves, and a gray pair of pants. He had a set of scissor pincers on his right arm and a black strap holding it to his arm. He also wore a gray t-shirt under his brown shirt. He wore a black belt to hold up his pants, and they had a silver belt buckle on them. The three of them were sent by Orochimaru to find out what happened, and to return back to the base as soon as they find out, so that they can inform him about the findings. It didn't take long time for a three-trained ninja to find a group of women hiding in the forest not far from the lake. After they interrogated them, and found out about Naruto and Tayuya well, they didn't find out their names, but they did get the physical description, and the general direction of where they went to. The three left the area and returned back to their base, to inform Orochimaru about what happened and what they found out. The women were left behind. Surprisingly, they weren't hurt in any way, and were just left to proceed as they wished. Naruto and Tayuya are just outside of the town where Fuma clan is supposed to be. They have been traveling for the last 2 days in relative peace, since they didn't run into anyone, so there was no trouble on the road. During the occasional stop they would make, Naruto would have short spars with Tayuya, so that she can learn to control the few techniques that Naruto taught her, like Sonido, Bala, Pesquisa, and Discorer. On top of those techniques, Tayuya also knows Hierro, but Hierro is a passive ability, so she didn't have to learn it. She just needs to become stronger, and over time, her defense will become stronger as well. As for the other techniques, she doesn't have a lot of trouble with Bala, Sonido, and Discorer, but Pesquisa does pose a slight problem for her. And while Tayuya is frustrated at her inability to learn the technique, Naruto isn't, as he is sure she will learn it one day. She just needs more time with that particular technique, unlike with the others, who came easier to her. Even though he has shown her Grand Ray Siro, Naruto didn't want to teach Tayuya the normal Siro until they find a place where they don't have to worry about being spied on. Which means that until they go to the land of whirlpools, one of the most powerful techniques all hollows can use will have to be put on hold. Outside of those techniques, Naruto has been helping Tayuya with swordsmanship. Naruto wasn't using his own sword for the training, though. What he was using is a technique called Komillo, to solidify his rapier and form a sword. This was once a technique which belonged to the piece of Naruto, which became Coyote Stark. Stark could only use it in his resurrection form, but Naruto can use it any time he wants. As they stood on the hill, outside of the town, the two heard rustling in the bush next to the road. Just as they turned toward where the rustling was coming from, a person jumped from the bushes, and all but fell on the road, right in front of Naruto and Tayuya. The two traveling companions, and cousins, looked at the person in front of them, who was looking right back at them, before Naruto and Tayuya looked at each other for a second, before they looked back at the person. Tayuya had a confused look on her face, as she didn't know who this person was, nor did she know what's going on, though she did notice that the person was injured, judging by the way they are holding their shoulder. Naruto, on the other hand, recognized the person's chakra signature as the one who he noticed 2 days ago right after he blew up that shithole, and created a lake afterward. His senses also managed to pick up the fact that the person kneeling in front of him is in fact a girl. He, just like Tayuya, couldn't help but wonder what is the girl doing there, and what happened to her. Seeing that the person on front of her isn't saying anything, but isn't making a run for it either, Tayuya took 2 steps forward, making the other girl pull backward a little, before she fell back down in pain while holding her right shoulder. "Easy there," Tayuya said, trying to calm the girl down. Not that she knows that the person in front of her is a girl, because of the way she was dressed and because of the mask over her head. "I'm not going to hurt you. Just tell me who you are, and what happened to you." The girl didn't reply thought, and only looked at Naruto and Tayuya with fear in her eyes. "What are you doing here?" Naruto suddenly asked, drawing the attention from both girls at himself. "I sensed you 2 days ago after I blew up that town. I know you were there, and I decided to let you walk away even though you saw what I did. But here you are again, right in front of me, and it makes me wonder, how come you are in the same place as the two of us for the second time in 2 days? Have you been following us?" Again, silence. The girl just didn't seem to want to talk, and it made Naruto frown. Tayuya, though, she looked straight at Naruto as soon as he said that he knows this person. "What do you mean, he saw what you did?" Tayuya asked with a frown. "Why didn't you tell me anything? And was it someone else there, who could have seen what you did?" "First off all it's not he, it's a SHE, Naruto said, and Tayuya's eyes widened. The girl's eyes also widened in surprise as she didn't think that Naruto will know her gender because of how she was dressed and because of the mask. "Second, I didn't tell you anything because there was no need. And yes, someone else did see what I did. Those women from that rip-off joint were there as well, and saw everything. I thought about killing them all." The girl flinched when she heard what Naruto said, and backed away a little, but she didn't run away, not just because of the pain in her shoulder, but also because she doubted she would be able to run away if Naruto didn't want her to run away. "But in the end, I decided to just let them be, since I already killed enough people that day." "But what if they tell someone about what you did?" Tayuya asked. Naruto just shrugged. "I don't care," he said. "It's not like anyone knows who we are, or what we can do outside of causing mass destruction. And even if someone was to find us, they wouldn't be able to do much against the two of us." Tayuya sighed. "That decision of yours may cause us some trouble later down the line," she said. "We don't want anyone to know about our plans until it's too late to do anything." "Well, no one would know anything if you managed to master Pesquisa and learn to keep your mouth shut," Naruto said with narrowed eyes, causing Tayuya to wonder what did she do. Naruto then looked toward the girl and said, "I'm assuming that wound was caused by the 3 spies who are currently watching us from over there." Naruto pointed his finger toward where he can sense 3 ninja, 2 with Chunin chakra levels and 1 jonin. "The same spies who, because of you," Naruto looked toward Tayuya, "know that we have some plans, even though they don't know what they are." Tayuya's face turned scarlet red from embarrassment caused by what she did. Naruto was right in everything she said. Because of her, the potential enemies now know about them, and that can cause them some trouble in the future unless, of course, something is done right now. "What should we do?" Tayuya asked. Naruto looked at her with a frown on her face, but it quickly turned into a smirk. "They are all yours," Naruto simply said, and Tayuya nodded quickly, as she didn't want to make Naruto angry. As soon as he nodded, Tayuya disappeared in a burst of speed, and went after the 3 ninja, who started running away as soon as they heard Naruto saying that he knows that they are there. They run away because they knew that they can't possibly fight against someone who can cause destruction on the level above anyone else. When Tayuya left, Naruto looked at the girl and said, "You should just take that mask of your head now, as there is no reason to hide yourself, since I know about your gender. Also, there is no need to be scared. I have no intention to hurt you now, when I already let you live 2 days ago." The girl looked at Harry for about a minute, before she took off the ski mask she was wearing, and showed her long orange hair and beautiful young face for Naruto to see. The two looked at each other for another minute, before the girl spoke for the first time. "My name is Sasami Fuma." While they had the head start, the 3 ninja who were running away from Tayuya weren't able to run away far before she caught up to them, and engaged them in battle. She made short work of 2 Kamakiri and Jigimo, and only Kajiro put up some fight, and that was only after Kajiro transformed back into a woman, showing that in fact, she is a woman and not a man. Of course, Tayuya knew this all along, as she has known these 3 since before she left Orochimaru's services, and joined Naruto. Kajiro was able to escape from Tayuya while carrying the other 2, with the help of a special jutsu which can be used only once in a lifetime, and teleported away, before Tayuya could catch them or even kill them. Tayuya sighed after her targets escaped, and then headed back to where Naruto and the other girls stayed. She wondered on the way, how Naruto would react when he hears that the people who have some information about them have managed to escape. While Tayuya was battling against her opponents, Sasami told Naruto that she was trying to save her cousin, Erasure, who joined Orochimaru, along with some other Fuma clan members, among which are the 3 who were spying on them. She didn't dare to lie to Naruto, or to try to deceive him, so she told him that the injury she has was done on purpose, in agreement with Jigimo, Kamakiri and Kajiro, so that she can get close to Naruto and Tayuya and slip them the sleeping drug. They would have them captured after that, and taken to Orochimaru, while Sasami would have been taken to see Erasure. Hearing her story, Naruto could only sigh, as he didn't know what else to do. The part of him which hates everything was telling him to just kill the girl and be done with it, but the other part of him, which is closer to his original self, wants to leave her alive and even help her in finding her cousin. All in all, Naruto is all but split in half, and doesn't know what to do. He hopes that when Tayuya comes back, she can tell him something about this Erasure, since she should know him because of her time working for Orochimaru. When Tayuya came back and said that the three ninja have escaped, Naruto wasn't happy, but he wasn't angry either. He was surprised, though, that they were able to escape from Tayuya, because with her Sonido, even though she hasn't mastered it, she has Kage-level speed. Escaping from her takes a lot of speed and skills, and according to her, apparently one of the three ninja, Kajiro, had the skills to pull it off. Naruto was very interested in that kunoichi from that moment on, and hoped to run into her again. Naruto then explained to Tayuya what Sasami told him, and Tayuya revealed that she knew Erasure, and the three ninja who escaped from her earlier. Wait, you know Erasure? Sasami asked with hope in her eyes, and Tayuya nodded? But how? Tayuya was silent for a few moments, thinking if she should tell Sasami that she used to work for Orochimaru. In the end, she decided against it, as she isn't sure how the girl would react. I have my way of knowing things? Tayuya said cryptically. Sasami looked at Tayuya for a moment, thinking if she should press more in order to find out how Tayuya knows Erasure, but in the end, she didn't want to risk it. Can you at least tell me who you are, and what are you doing here in the land of rice paddies? Sasami asked. My name is Alessandro Stark, Naruto introduced himself, before he pointed at Tayuya. She is Lilith Stark. We are cousins. As for what we are doing in this land, that can wait for later. First we need to treat that wound, or better said, Tayuya will help you treat that wound. Sasami nodded in agreement. She was thankful that Naruto isn't a pervert who won't push it and try to see her naked by claiming that he needs to treat her wound. And how am I supposed to treat her wound? Tayuya asked with irritation in her voice. I'm not a medic, nor do I have some medicine with me which can help her. So how am I supposed to do it? I didn't think about that, Naruto admitted, and then thought about it for a minute before he remembered. Let's go to that town down there, and there we can find a doctor who can help her, after which, she can lead us to the Fuma clan. Why are you searching for my clan? Sasami asked with a slightly scared look on her face, as she has seen what Naruto can do, and had a bad feeling about his reasoning for wanting to see her clan. I have to talk to them about something, Naruto said. Don't worry, I don't plan to hurt any of you. Of course, if they attack or try to pull some shit on us, well, they won't like the end results. Naruto's words made Sasami shudder a little, as she instantly remembered what Naruto did to that town 2 days ago, and wondered if he will end up doing that again, but this time, in the same town where she lives with what's left of her clan. Naruto, Tayuya and Sasami were walking through the town where Fuma clan lives, while looking around the place. All around them, there were bars, casinos, and various other rip-off joints. Along with that, people are seen fighting and mugging one another in the middle of the street, and no one seems to be bothered by that. It's like they are used to it. You know, Naruto said. Compared to this place, that other town seems like a nice honeymoon spot. I almost regret destroying that place instead of this one. Sasami flinched because of Naruto's words, and Tayuya noticed it. Don't say stuff like that, she said to Naruto. You are scaring the kid here. Naruto looked at the two for a second, before he looked back in front of himself. All I said is the truth, he said. This place is a dump. At least in that other place, no one was trying to rob you in the middle of the street. Tayuya sighed and said. Let's just go and meet with the leader of the Fuma clan. She looked at Sasami. What did you say his name was again? The current head of Fuma clan is called Hanzaki, Sasami said. What kind of a man is he? Tayuya asked. Well, he harbors great resentment towards Orochimaru for seducing many of our clansmen, that's for sure, Sasami said. He also does everything needed for the clan's survival, including the robbing of random people, and is willing to kill if necessary. He also has respect towards fellow shinobi, as he tends to offer them to just hand over the money and everything valuable, and he would let them live. He doesn't do that often with civilians, though. What about the rest of the clan members? Naruto asked. They follow Hanzaki, Sasami said. They might not like it, but that's the only way to survive. No one hires us for missions any longer, and we have to do whatever we can to survive. Men in the clan are usually attacking people and robbing them, while women are also stealing, but not from some random people and not in the middle of the street. They do it in different ways. She blushed in the end when she mentioned what women are doing to get the money. Tayuya bristled when she realized what women in the Fuma clan are doing to survive. She was angry at Orochimaru, at the Sound Daimyo, and even at Fuma clan males themselves, because they are letting the women doing those sort of things. Of course, she knew that they don't have much of a choice, but they could have at least tried to find and do something else. Naruto didn't say anything, nor was he really bothered. After living for as long as he did, and after seeing many atrocities, he has toughened up. That doesn't mean that he is happy though, and will at least try to do something to help Fuma clan members. Kajiro, now in her real form, teleported in the middle of the forest, where the entrance to Orochimaru's base is. As soon as she appeared, with Jigimo and Kamakiri in her arms, she dropped them on the ground and then she also fell down in between them, as she was completely exhausted from the jutsu she used to save her friends and clansmen, and then escaped from Tayuya. Jigimo and Kamakiri woke up soon, and saw Kajiro lying in between them. Kajiro, Jigimo called. Why did you risk your life for the two of us? Kamakiri asked. Kajiro, though, she didn't say anything, and was just lying there, with half-open eyes, and with her lips trembling. Crazy fool! Kamakiri said, before both he and Jigimo lifted Kajiro and carried her toward the entrance of the sound base. Soon enough, the three of them were in a dark room, with many bottles, jars and scrolls all over the shelves. Kajiro was lying on the ground in front of the kneeling Jigimo and Kamakiri, while on the other side of them sit Orochimaru, with Kabuto standing next to his chair. Please, my lord, Jigimo begged. Our fallen comrade doesn't have long to live, Kamakiri continued. Only you with your mastery over medical jutsu can save her. I want you both to bow your heads, put your hands on your hearts, and contemplate, Orochimaru said in low tone of voice. Contemplate the many ways in which you have failed me. Kamakiri got angry. But my lord, he said, we have risked our lives for your cause. Every order you've given us, we have obeyed. You promised to help us restore the Fuma clan. You must acknowledge our service to you. Jigimo added, equally angry as Kamakiri. Orochimaru looked at the two for about a minute, before he said, there is only one way for the two of you to atone for your failures. Kamakiri and Jigimo looked at each other, before they nodded. After that, they pulled out their kunai, and jumped at Orochimaru, yelling at him. It took an instant for both of them to be cut down before they could even land a hand on Orochimaru. The two Fuma clan ninja fell on top of Kajiro, dead, while Orochimaru laughed loudly at the sight before him. He was interrupted by the voice which was heard from the chamber door. You should stop with that laugh, the female voice said. It's annoying. Orochimaru and Kabuto looked toward the voice, and both flinched at the sight of an extremely beautiful girl, with long purple hair and red eyes. She wears a full-body outfit that highlights her curvaceous body, with metallic shoulder pads. On some places, her outfit is see-through, and shows her stomach, most of her legs and arms, as well as her chest, except her. On her back, she has strapped a pure black, double-edged, long sword, with curved guard, and red line along with several red circles on the blade. What are you doing here? Orochimaru asked with fear clear in his voice. The girl just looked at Orochimaru for a while, with disinterest in her eyes. She let both him and Kabuto squirm a little, before she finally said, the boss sent me here. I wouldn't have any other reason to come here. But why? Kabuto asked. If it's because these Fuma weaklings failed, then you shouldn't worry about it. We can take care of the problem. You can't, she simply said. The boss himself went to check out that new lake, and once he saw and heard about what happened, he immediately sent me to catch those responsible, and then take them to him. He has a lot of interest in someone who can do stuff like creating miles-wide crater and fill it with water in barely a minute. The two of you along with everyone else in this base, put together, wouldn't be able to catch that person, thus I'm here. Orochimaru and Kabuto wanted to argue, even rage at the girl, but they knew better. If they do that, they would be done for before they could even blink. The girl walked over to the two dead Fuma clan members, and one barely alive, and looked at them for about a minute. You cannot defeat those people by yourself, she said. But I can. Although, he has another task for you. She then looked at Kabuto and Orochimaru, before she showed a smile, which nearly froze both of them in fear. Naruto and Tayuya have spent the last 2 hours, listening to the story of the Fuma clan, and what they turned to after the wars and after some of them joined to Orochimaru. The ones who were telling the story were the current clan leader, Hanzaki, as well as few other. After Sasami brought them to let's call it Fuma clan compound, even though it's not that, and is more of several houses joined together to form one big house. Naruto and Tayuya have been in the meeting with the rest of the Fuma clan. At first, the Fuma didn't trust the two, as they didn't know them. Then the distrust turned to fear when the Fuma realized who Naruto and Tayuya were, because by now, everyone in the Ien knows about the new artificial lake which came out of nowhere on the same location where a town used to be. In the end, they calmed down, and relaxed somewhat, and agreed to talk to them, per Sasami's request, as she is the one who told them that Naruto and Tayuya, or as she believes they are named, Alessandro and Lilinet, and not going to harm them and only want to talk about something. From then on, Sasami's wound was treated by some clan members, while most others were talking with Naruto and Tayuya. After they heard the story, which they already knew, at least most of it, Naruto and Tayuya finally got the chance to say why they are there, and what they want from the Fuma clan. Before I tell you why we came here and what we want from you, you need to understand one thing, Naruto said, with a very serious expression on his face. Seeing the serious look on Naruto's face, everyone in the room turned serious as well, and some were even sweating a little, because they got a bad feeling. Seeing that he has everyone's attention, Naruto said, while I don't really care if someone sees me destroying stuff, nor do I really care if others find out that I have some plans, I do want to keep it a secret, what those plans are, Naruto said. I don't want to keep them a secret because I'm afraid that someone will put a stop to those plans, but because if others find out, they will try to put a stop to them, and even though they will fail, it might cause me some trouble and prolong the time it will take me to get those plans realized. Do you understand that? The members of the Fuma clan nodded, as they did understand, but they didn't understand where Naruto is going with this. So, what I'm trying to say is that if I tell you what I want from the Fuma clan, then you will only have 2 choices, Naruto said. One is that you go with those plans and join me, or I will have to kill every single one of you. Once Naruto said that, there was utter silence in the room, as everyone was floored by what they heard, and didn't know what to say. What they did know is that they are suddenly all scared and felt like they are seating in the presence of death itself. Even Tayuya was surprised and scared, because she didn't think that Naruto would say something like that. What's worse, she knew that he would actually go through with it, and kill everyone in the Fuma clan if he wants to. It took 10 minutes for Hanzaki to calm himself down enough to ask a question. If that's how things are, then why would we even want to hear the question in the first place? If we don't agree with your plan, then you will kill us all, so why should we even hear you out, and not just tell you right now that we are not interested, and you can be on your way, and we can get back to our business. Well, if you agree to my plan and join me, then you won't have to be criminals any longer, and your women won't have to whore themselves out for money. Naruto said with a straight face and with no emotions. This made everyone to start thinking about it, and some of them actually remembered the time when Orochimaru's man was there to talk with them. One of those who remembered that time was Hanzaki, so he said, "You know, your words remind me far too much of what Orochimaru's man were talking about when they were here, only without the threat of extermination. He also wanted us to join his village, but the thing is, you have no village, so I don't understand what you mean when you say you want us to join you." To answer that question, I would have to tell you about the plan, Naruto said. Are you willing to listen? You really need to give us something more, Hanzaki said. I can't risk it while knowing nothing. Naruto sighed, and thought about what he should tell to Hanzaki. It took him a minute to realize that there is nothing he can tell him without revealing the plan, and if he does that, and Hanzaki and the others refuse to join him, well, it would be a problem. Naruto's thoughts were interrupted by the explosion which came from the front door of the compound. It brought everyone on their feet, and they all run outside to see what happened. Naruto, though, he didn't run, but he also went outside to see what's going on. He was quite surprised when he saw Orochimaru, Kabuto and a black-haired girl standing at the entrance, with Orochimaru and Kabuto having smiles on their faces, while the girl wore blank expression. Why are Orochimaru and his buddy here? Tayuya screamed. And what the fuck is SHE doing here as well? Naruto looked around and notices that all members of the Fuma clan are scared out of their skin, and look like they are about to piss themselves in fear. He then looked at Tayuya and asked, "Who is that girl?" "She is bad news," Tayuya said, while sweat was rolling down her face. She was scared, and Naruto noticed that right away. It made him wonder who this girl is, if Tayuya is so afraid of her. "You want to give me some more information?" Naruto pressed. Tayuya sighed and was about to say something, but before she could, the girl spoke. "So you are the one who blew up that town 2 days ago and created the lake afterward." Her voice was calm and soft. It was as if she has no fear whatsoever, while in the presence of someone who can cause as much destruction as Naruto can. "I got to admit, I haven't seen the boss so happy in a while," she added, causing Naruto to narrow his eyes. Even Tayuya had her eyes narrowed after she heard what the girl said. "When he heard that there is someone that powerful, he was so happy that I was sure he was going to have an orgasm," she continued to talk, and this time, her words caused many to sweat drop. Even the members of the Fuma clan sweat dropped, even though the fear was gripping their hearts. "Which is why he sent me here to catch the two of you and bring you to him. He is quite interested in doing some experiments on you too." Naruto and Tayuya looked at the girl, then at Orochimaru and Kabuto, before they looked at each other. "Who is her boss?" Naruto asked Tayuya. "It's Orochimaru," Tayuya said. "But why is she speaking about him as if he isn't standing right next to her?" Naruto looked at Orochimaru and Kabuto, and shook his head. "I don't think those two are Orochimaru and Kabuto," he said, surprising Tayuya, but also members of the Fuma clan, who were able to hear him. "I have met the real Orochimaru and Kabuto several times, and those two don't feel like those two. These two feel quite a bit weaker." Naruto's words brought hope to the Fuma clan that they are not going to die here today. "That girl, though," Naruto said again. "She's really strong." "You bet she is," Tayuya said. "She is the strongest ninja Otogekyou has, and not by a little. She's probably even stronger than Orochimaru." Fuma clan members almost had heart attacks when they heard Tayuya, and Naruto's narrowed his eyes. Across from them, Orochimaru, Kabuto and the girl also narrowed their eyes for several reasons. One is that they are surprised that Naruto seems to be able to tell that Orochimaru and Kabuto standing in front of him are fake, the other reason being that he can tell how powerful the girl is. That takes a really good sensory ninja to be able to guess how powerful someone is. Finally, the three are really surprised that Tayuya seems to know that the black-haired girl sent by Orochimaru to capture them is the strongest ninja in Otogekyou. That is something no one outside of Orochimaru, Kabuto, the former Sound 4 plus Kimimaro, as well as few others, knew. Out of them all, half are dead, so how the hell does this girl know that? This was the question running through the minds of the fake Orochimaru and Kabuto, as well as the black-haired girls. "Who is she?" Naruto asked Tayuya. "What her name?" "Her name," Tayuya said. "Her name is Taya Takumi. She's better known as the Yellow Dragon, Chilin." "Yellow Dragon, you say?" Naruto questioned, as he was looking at the Taya with narrowed eyes. Tayuya nodded before she said, "Yes. She is the descendant of the founder of the Takumi village, a guy named Saimai, who founded the village about 100 years ago. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that she is his great-granddaughter, and is said to be more skilled than even Saimai, not just in battle power, but also in craftsmanship." I think I heard about that village somewhere, Naruto commented while thinking. They were famous for making weapons for all of the ninja in the Ien, Tayuya said. Unfortunately, every time the big hidden villages went to war, Takumi village was attacked out of fear that their weapons would go to the enemy sides. And when there was no war, the residents of the Takumi village didn't have other choice but to supply the other villages with weaponry in order to survive. They couldn't even seek revenge against those who attacked them. As Tayuya was explaining everything she knew about Takumi village, Naruto was listening carefully. Taya was also listening, wanting to know how much Tayuya knows. She is also not in a hurry, so she has no problem waiting, and it would be beneath her to attack her opponents while they are not battle-ready. Over time, Tayuya continued telling what she knows about the Takumi village. Their clientele from the other villages grew in skill, making the crafted weapons obsolete. When the village faced hard times, they requested help but were ignored. Right now, there is pretty much nothing left of that village. Taya might actually be the only remaining person from that village. "I see," Naruto said. Before he might say something else, though, Taya spoke. "Actually, there are few others who are still alive," she said. "They have some plans, though, with which I do not agree, so we went our separate ways." "Is that so?" Naruto questioned while looking at Taya. "And why would you tell us that?" Taya shrugged. "It doesn't matter," she said. "I won't make any difference if you know or not. I was sent here to capture the both of you, and I will do it. So you knowing about other member of the Takumi village doesn't matter, as you will never get the chance to meet them." Naruto raised his right eyebrow. "You seem so sure that you will be able to defeat us," he said. "If you are saying that because you are on the same level as Orochimaru, then I will tell you right now that Orochimaru, as powerful as he is a weakling compared to me." Taya smiled. "We will see how powerful you are once the battle starts," she said, before she drew the sword from her back with her right hand and held it pointed toward Naruto. There was some red glow around the edges of the black blade, which made Naruto curious about the sword. He could feel that the sword is not your average blade, and it almost feels like it has a power of its own. Sort of like Zanpakuto's, used by Shinigami and Arankar. "Don't underestimate her," Tayuya said with a sweat drop rolling down her cheek. "Her skills in swordsmanship are above anyone I have ever seen, and she is said to have mastery over lightning on the level which would put the Raikage to shame." Naruto, though, only smirked before he said, "Go and help the Fuma clan deal with those imposters. I don't think they will be able to take them out by themselves, even though they are not the real Orochimaru and Kabuto. I will deal with this girl alone." Tayuya wanted to argue, but one look at Naruto's face told her he was serious, and that she should just listen to him if she knows what's good for her. So, she looked at him one more time, before she moved toward where the Fuma clan members have already started the battle against the fake Orochimaru and Kabuto, while she was explaining to Naruto the history of the Takumi village. Naruto pulled out his sword and held it pointed toward the ground. He smirked and asked, "Shall we?" Taya didn't even bother to reply, as she disappeared in a burst of speed. Naruto disappeared soon after. Naruto was right. Orochimaru and Kabuto, which showed up to attack Fuma clan, weren't the real deal. This was proven right about 5 minutes into the battle between the two of them, against the Fuma clan and Tayuya. Well, it was the two of them against the Fuma clan. Tayuya was only interfering if she had to, but she has decided to stay away for now, and see how the things go. When a powerful mix of fire and wind jutsu used by 2 members of the Fuma clan hit the fake Orochimaru and Kabuto, their disguises were destroyed, only to reveal that Kabuto was in fact Kajiro, while Orochimaru turned out to be Erasure, a member of the Fuma clan who joined Orochimaru, and also the cousin Sasami was searching for. The members of the Fuma clan, who didn't join Orochimaru, couldn't believe that they were being attacked by their own family, and while Kajiro does look to feel slight guilt because of what she is doing, Erasure seems to be almost psychotic. The reason why he was like that was revealed as soon as he revealed that he has used casualty puppet jutsu and absorbed Kamakiri and Jigimo, thus gaining their powers, but also transforming into a monster. His mind was also affected because of the jutsu, and now everyone knew why he was as he is. Seeing that he is a great threat for his clansmen, Tayuya decided to take on Erasure alone, while several others took on Kajiro, who was quite a bit more powerful than everyone who has stayed in the Fuma clan and didn't join Orochimaru. It took Tayuya just 2 minutes to defeat Erasure, who was powerful, even before he absorbed Kamakiri and Jigimo, which only made him stronger. But after Naruto turned her into human/hollow hybrid, Tayuya has become much more powerful, and Erasure couldn't do anything against her. She was able to defeat him by ripping the corpses of Kamakiri and Jigimo from Erasure, which sent him into shock and reverted him back to his original state, or mind and physical look. By then, the rest of the Fuma clan were able to subdue Kajiro, and they all joined Tayuya. Unfortunately, the price of the jutsu Erasure used is life, so even though he was back as his old self, he is dying, and only has few minutes left. The Fuma clan gathered around him, as they had some final words, with Sasami crying as she didn't want him to die and leave her alone. He told her that she won't be alone, and that even though they are not as close as the two of them have been, the rest of the Fuma clan are her family, and as such, they will take care of her now that he won't be there any longer. Sasami and few others cried as Erasure finally died, though he had a happy smile on his face. He was happy because he knew that Sasami will be safe, and he was also happy that he is free again, after the terrible mistake he made by joining Orochimaru. The crying and mourning was interrupted by a large explosion, which was heard from where Naruto and Teiya were fighting. For about 10 minutes, Naruto and Teiya were fighting with only their swords, trying to see how powerful and skillful the other is, before they bring out the big guns. Even though they have only been exchanging sword strikes, the damage to the surrounding area is visible, since the strikes were powerful and each clash would produce a shockwave, which would spread around the Fuma clan compound and cause destruction. "You are good," Teiya said, while standing several meters from Naruto. She had a smile on her face, and some sweat on her forehead. Across from her, Naruto didn't even look winded. It was like he has been out on a morning walk for the last 10 minutes, and not participated in a high-speed sword duel. "But let's see how you deal with this." Teiya grabbed her sword with both of her hands and lifted it above her head. The sword was then surrounded by yellow aura, and soon, sparks of electricity appeared all over the blade. She then pointed the sword toward Naruto, and yelled, "Thunder Beam!" As soon as she yelled her attack, Teiya sent a very powerful beam of yellow electricity toward Naruto, who rose an eyebrow when he saw the attack. Naruto countered the move by pointing his left index finger toward the incoming attack and fired a medium-level, red-colored, Zero, which quickly collided with Teiya's attack, and caused a big explosion, which covered the whole area in dust, and prevented Teiya and Naruto to see each other. Though he couldn't see her, Naruto knew exactly where Teiya is, because of his pesquisa. Which is why, he noticed right away that Teiya has jumped into the air, and pointed her sword toward the thundercloud-filled sky. "Thunderbolt!" Teiya shouted her attack, again, and brought her sword downward toward Naruto, but instead of firing her attack from the sword, it was only acting as a medium to bring down the natural lighting from the sky. A very powerful bolt of lightning descended down from the sky, and hit Naruto head-on from above, completely covering him from sight in a dome of electricity. Several seconds later, the electric dome disappeared, and revealed Naruto standing in the middle of a crater. His cloths were burned on several places, but there doesn't seem to be any damage on his body. "That was a good one," Naruto praised Teiya, with a smirk on her face. "But still not good enough. What the hell's up with this guy?" Teiya wondered in her head. There is no way he didn't receive any damage after that attack. I mean, yes, it wasn't even close to one of my more powerful ones, but he should have still be stunned if nothing else. Teiya put the thumb of her left hand, and went through one-handed hand size before she slammed her hand on the ground. "Blood clone jutsu!" she yelled. The blood from her fingers spread on the ground, and started to take form. 10 seconds later, another Teiya was standing right next to the original one, only without the sword. "You are pretty durable, I'll give you that," the original Teiya said, while the blood clone Teiya was performing hand signs. At the same time, the original was also performing other hand signs, with both hands this time, as she has attached her sword on the strap at her back. "Let's see how far that durability goes." "Water style, 9 water dragon jutsu," the blood clone shouted, and spit out water from her mouth, which then spread around the wide area, before it started to shape into 9 gigantic water dragons. Naruto's eyes widened slightingly as he saw this, and remembered the jutsu being used by Kakashi and Zabuza in their battle. The difference, though, was astronomical, because Teiya's version made Kakashi's and Zabuza's look like academy students playing around. He was even more surprised when he was what the original Teiya was doing. "Lightning style, lightning infusion," the original shouted, and placed both of her palms on the ground and sent electricity through the water dragons, making them all sparkle for a few seconds, before they all moved toward each other and started to merge together. Both the blood clone and the original Teiya shouted at the same time. "Collaboration jutsu, storm style, Hydra." Naruto looked in amazement at the 300 feet tall, 9-headed monstrosity that Teiya has made. The 9-headed dragon was made out of water, but there was black lightning all around it, and if Naruto's eyes weren't messing with him, there were streams of black lightning inside of the dragon's body, flowing like rivers. "This is one of my most powerful jutsu," Teiya yelled so that Naruto could hear her over the sound of dragon roars and the thunder which was heard from the sky above them. Naruto realized just then that the thunderstorm is not normal, because the storm of that magnitude can't be natural, and even if it was, there would be lightning strikes all over the place, but from what he can see, there isn't a single lightning strike which was coming toward the ground, and were just dancing between the clouds. "Let's see you counter it now." Naruto was brought back from his thinking by Teiya's shouting, and noticed the 9-headed serpent dragon coming toward him. He saw it, and knew then and there that no normal human can escape or counter that. "It's a good thing that I'm not a normal man," Naruto thought with a smile on his face. Bakudo number 81. "Danku," Naruto said, and immediately, A huge translucent barrier in the form of a large rectangular wall appeared in front of Naruto. Just as Naruto formed the barrier, Teia's 9-headed Hydra hit at the barrier, creating an explosion so big that it covered the entire Fuma clan compound and completely erased it from the face of the earth. It took a few moments for the dust cloud to disappear and to reveal Naruto standing behind the barrier, which, by the way, didn't even have a scratch on it. Quite a bit away from Naruto, Teia was standing and looking at the barrier, and through it, Naruto. Her mouth and eyes were wide open in disbelief. She couldn't seem to comprehend how Naruto was able to defend himself against an attack like that, and doesn't even have a scratch on him. Who the hell is this guy? Teia screamed in her mind, now starting to get scared for the first time in her life. The barrier Naruto created disappeared, and Naruto started to laugh lightly, before it turned into a full-out maniacal laugh, which scared Teia to hell. She was backing away slightly from Naruto, while not taking her eyes off of him, in case he suddenly decides to attack. I guess it's a good thing that the members of the Fuma clan ended up outside of the gates of the compound, Naruto said through the laugh. They would have all been vaporized to nothingness by that attack. I must congratulate you, Teia. Not counting Ichigo Kurosaki, and one other guy, you are the most powerful human I have ever fought, and that's saying a lot considering that I have lived for over 1,000 years. Teia almost had a stroke when she heard what Naruto said, and then promptly fell on her ass in disbelief and fear. What or why you talking about? Teia barely stuttered. Naruto stopped laughing and just looked at Teia with amusement in his eyes. Then, he decided to show her what real power is, so that she can see how far above her he actually is. Considering that Naruto, at this point, is a being above which any mortal being can hope to achieve, his power is transcendent, which means that no one can sense his power level unless he brings us down to their level of awareness. In this, he is the same as Aizen and Ichigo, as they have both ended up being transcendent beings. At least that's what the goddess told him. So, Naruto lowered his power level to the level where Teia could feel it, and then let it loose. The effect was instantaneous. The air in the entire town grew so heavy that people were having problem to breathe, let alone stand on their legs. Every living being in the town fell on their asses, as they were pressed down by Naruto's Ryatsu, and some of them have even passed out since they couldn't take it. The worst pressure of them all was felt by Teia, who was the closest to Naruto, and was getting even closer as she was on the ground, unable to move, and Naruto was slowly walking toward her, looking at her with narrowed eyes, but with a smirk on his face. At that point, Teia felt like Naruto is the ultimate predator, and she is a deer about to be devoured. Teia was reduced to a little girl, as she was pressed to the ground from the pressure released by Naruto. She had tears at the side of her wide eyes, which was a sign of how afraid of Naruto she is. Never in her life has she been afraid of anything or anyone, and she never thought she will be. But now that she was looking at Naruto as he was slowly walking toward her, she felt she was looking at the god of death, who has come to take her soul so he can play with it for the rest of eternity. When Naruto arrived right in front of Teia, he stopped releasing his Ryatsu, and the pressure Teia felt disappeared, allowing her to breathe normally. She then looked toward Naruto, and saw his right hand was extended toward her, but not in a threatening manner. Instead, it looked like he was offering her help to get back to her feet. Of course, Teia didn't immediately try to take his hand and get up. She was afraid of him, and until she knows what he wants, she won't be touching him at all. Seeing that Teia won't accept his help to stand up, Naruto sighed. I won't hurt you, he said, surprising her. This battle is over, and you lost, so there is no reason to hurt you at this point. On top of that, you are strong, and I respect strength a lot, which is why I have an offer for you. Teia looked at Naruto with surprised and confused look on her face. She wondered what kind of offer he has for her, and even wondered what would happen to her if she was to refuse his offer. What do you want? She asked. I want you to join me, Naruto said, and got wide-eyed look from Teia in return. You are strong, and I want you to join me and become my comrade. In return for your allegiance, I will give you the same type of power that I have. Because of those powers, you will become much stronger. Not as strong as I am, but stronger than any normal human can even hope to become. So what is your answer? Naruto, Taiyuya, and Teia were seating in a booth in one of the bars in the town. With them, there are several other members of the Fuma clan, led by Hanzaki. Since Teia was there, it was obvious she accepted Naruto's offer, and is now his new comrade and traveling companion, along with Taiyuya. Now though, it was time to see if Fuma clan will be joining them as well, or will they stay where they are and continue to survive by being criminals and whores. After what happened earlier today, we of the Fuma clan have talked about it, and about what you told us, and have decided to listen to your offer. Hanzaki said, getting raised eyebrows from Naruto and Taiyuya. Teia was just sitting there quietly, as she didn't know about the offer, so she didn't have anything to say. You agree to listen to my offer, even though you know what will happen if you refuse it? Naruto questioned. Yes, Hanzaki confirmed. Orochimaru sent those 3 to take us for experimenting, as he needs new bodies. We were able to stay free because of you and Lilinet, but the next time he sends someone, we will be done for. We talked about it, and decided to listen to your offer, and if we don't like it, well, death is better than being used by Orochimaru for his sick experiments. Naruto thought about it for a minute, before he sighed. Fine, he said. When I said that I wanted Fuma clan to join me, I mean that I wanted you to join my village. He got confused expressions from everyone there except Tayuya. Wait a minute, Hanzaki said. What village? Are you actually from one of the hidden villages and they have sent you to get us to join you? No, Naruto said. I have no affiliation to any of the current villages. I have decided to build a new village. Lilinet told me that we would need someone to live there, since, currently, the place where I plan to build the village is completely empty. No one has lived there for decades now, so we need someone to join. Your clan came up first, since Lilinet knows a lot about this land and what was happening here in recent years. Basically, she is the one who suggested you. This was another big surprise for the Fuma. Hanzaki and the rest of the Fuma who were there all looked at Tayuya wondering why she suggested them, and how does she know so much about the land of rice paddies. They also remembered that she knew a lot about Orochimaru, and for a moment, a thought passed through their minds that this was all a setup, and that Naruto and Tayuya actually work for Orochimaru, and are doing all of this to trick them so that the Fuma would in the end up as Orochimaru guinea pigs. The half a dozen Fuma clan members looked at Naruto and Tayuya, searching for any signs of deception, but after a minute of not finding one, Hanzaki sighed and asked, "And where exactly do you plan to build this village of yours? Land of whirlpools?" Naruto shortly answered, getting wide-eyed looks from everyone but Tayuya. But that place was completely destroyed, Hanzaki said. There is nothing left there. I know that it was destroyed, Naruto said. And while I don't know in what condition the island currently is, I know that no one lives there. The island is currently uninhabited, but is inhabitable and supposedly has a lot of natural resources, which makes it perfect to build a hidden village. No, it actually makes it perfect to build a whole country, which is exactly what my end goal is. The village is just the start. But you can't just take an island and build a country, Hanzaki argued. What if someone complains? Who? Naruto asked. The Uzumaki clan was the biggest clan on that island. From what I know, the Uzumakis were the royal family and rulers of the country. Also, every Uzukage was an Uzumaki. But Uzumaki clan is all but gone, and those who are still alive are scattered all over the Yen. If some of them wanted or had the ability to rebuild the land, they would have tried by now. Since they didn't, the land is right for the taking, and no one can say anything. I'm actually surprised that none of the great nations tried to take it over after the fall of the Uzumaki clan. Knowing how greedy those bastards are, I wouldn't have been surprised if someone annexed the land of whirlpools. Well, Tayuya decided to say something about that. From what I know, after the whirlpool country was destroyed, the place was cleaned up of everything of worth, and then abandoned. The reason no one annexed it by now is because no one thought it was worth it, even with the natural resources it has. I see, Naruto said. Well, anyway, what is your answer? He asked Hanzaki. If you decide to join me, you will have to work a lot to rebuild the village, and to build homes for yourselves, but that shouldn't be a problem since you will have to rebuild your house, which was destroyed during the battle earlier. Sorry about that, by the way. Anyway, Lilinet, Taya and I will be going around the Yen, trying to earn money and find more people to join us, while you would stay in Whirlpool. I'm sure we can find some temporary accommodations for all of you, until the houses are built. Also, if you join, you will no longer have to be thieves and other things. He said that while casting a look toward few women who were there with Hanzaki. They all blushed and looked toward the floor in embarrassment. I will provide you with money to last for some time, until the houses are built, and I'm sure you have some money as well. Once your houses are built, strongest among you can try to do some bounty hunting and some odd jobs around the Yen to earn money, until the village is up and running, after which, we will be receiving missions, and over time, as other places are built, there will be more job for everyone, including non-fighters. It didn't take long for the Fuma clan members to accept Naruto's offer, which means that from that moment on, they were officially the first clan who joined the to-be-rebuilt land of whirlpools. After the agreement, the Fumas went and collected what was left of their stuff, which unfortunately wasn't much, as everything was destroyed in the battle between Naruto and Taya. Naruto then gave them some money he had sealed in the scroll, and told Tayuya to take them all to the land of whirlpools, and stay there with them until Naruto comes to check the place. Taya would come with him, though. Why do I have to take them to Whirlpool? Tayuya grumbled. Because you are the only one who went there, Naruto said. You told me that Orochimaru took you once there along with few others, to check the place. That means you know how to get there better than me and Taya, and know what to expect. I will go and see if I can find more money and potential clans and people to join the village. Taya will come with me because, even though she agreed to join me, I still don't trust her completely. Taya heard this, but wasn't offended. She still doesn't trust Naruto either, so they are even in that regard. Tayuya huffed. Fine. But better come soon. I don't want to spend too much time in one place, now that I have the chance to travel and see the Yen the way I want to. Naruto nodded, but said nothing. Tayuya did another thing, though. Oh, and my advice is that you should try to find a way to make a lot of money as fast as possible. If you plan to do bounty hunting, you will never be able to get enough money to build a village. I don't even want to talk about the country. And how exactly do I do that? Naruto asked with raised eyebrows. Well, you said that you have always had luck in gambling, Tayuya said. You proved that 2 months ago in Tanzakagai, so maybe you should try something similar, but in another place. You could also try to take over some mines. I know of a gold mine, just over the western border of the land of rice paddies, and another one in the land of rivers. If you can get your hands on them, you will have enough money to start building the village right away. Naruto thought about what Tayuya told him. He knew she was right, and that with bounty hunting, he would be able to get enough money to live comfortably, but for his plans, he needs hundreds of millions of ryo, and that's not something he can just find around the corner. I guess I'll go and check out those gold mines before I do anything else. Okay, Naruto said. I'll go and check them out. When I arrive in the land of whirlpools, we'll talk about what I found and what I managed to get. Tayuya nodded, and after she said goodbye to Naruto and Taya, she went to get the Fuma clan and escort them to the former land of whirlpools. Naruto and Taya turned around and went to a different direction. Finding the gold mine in the country west of the land of rice paddies was not hard, since Taya knew where it is. Getting his hands on it, well, that wasn't that easy, but in the end, Naruto was able to buy out the gold mine, after having the talk with the daimyo of that land. The talk went like, you either give me the mine, or I'll chop your head off. Daimyo gave up right away, and from that moment on, Taya was the proud owner of a small gold mine. The reason Taya became the owner of the mine, and not Naruto, is because Taya can actually sign her own name on the ownership paper, while Naruto can't, since he still goes by Alessandro Stark, which is not his name, and he doesn't want anyone to know that he is Naruto Uzumaki. At least not yet. While they were there, Naruto and Taya ended up saving the small village, which was attacked by the remnants of the Shin clan of the land of rice paddies. Most of that clan ended up joining Orochimaru's Sound village, while the remaining several dozen ended up becoming bandits. They were interested in taking over the mine which Naruto bought and attack the villagers so that they can make them move away. When the villagers refused to leave, the Shin clan went and started to kill them. Unfortunately for the bandits, that was exactly at the same time Naruto and Taya were passing by next to the village, on the way to check out the gold mine. Seeing what's going on, and since Taya told him who the bandits are, Naruto decided to save the villagers, dispose of the Shin clan, and if possible, convince the surviving villagers to move to the whirlpool, since the place where the village is would soon become uninhabitable once the mine ends up being opened. Both Naruto and Taya were fighters and destroyers, but only Naruto is good in negotiations, though that was probably because he is scary and tends to threaten to those he wants something from. In this case, it was decided that Taya will deal with Shin clan, while Naruto talks with the villagers, and try to convince them to move to the whirlpool. He decided to have a peaceful talk with them, instead of threatening them, as he would have normally done. That was the reason for why it took him longer to convince the villagers to join him than it took Taya to deal with several dozen bandits, who were all ninja, and not just regular bandits who had no training. By the time Naruto convinced the villagers to abandon their birth land and move away, Taya has already killed of every member of the Shin clan, and was waiting outside of one of the remaining unburned houses, in which Naruto talked with the villagers. Once the villagers were convinced to move to the whirlpool, and the preparations for the moving has started, Taya asked Naruto how he plans to move all the people to the whirlpool. When he heard the question, Naruto realized that he can't take them there, as he doesn't know where it is, and while Taya does know, he doesn't want to send her alone with all those civilians, and he also doesn't want to waste time on going to the whirlpool now, and plans to go there at the later time. He also didn't have a way to contact Tayuya, so that he can have the villagers meet with her and the Fuma clan somewhere, after which, she would take them all to the whirlpool, while Naruto and Taya would continue the journey. It took Naruto half an hour to remember that he can use Garganta to transport all those people from one place to another. Now, he does know that this way of traveling would frighten all those people, but he has no other way to move them. Taya told him that in order to go to the whirlpool, from the land of rice paddies, Tayuya would have to pass through the land of hot water, and go all the way to southern port. Once the villagers were ready, Naruto opened the Garganta, much to everyone's shock and fright, as all they could see is black nothingness. Naruto then went and told them to think of this as a space-time jutsu, and that nothing will happen to them as long as he is here. He said that he will be going ahead, so he can create the path on which the other will walk on, while they will all slowly walk behind him. All they had to do was be careful not to fall off the path. It's simple, right? It took a little while to convince everyone that there is nothing to be afraid of, and after they were all convinced, about 40 civilians followed after Naruto and Taya through Garganta, which closed right after the last person walked through it. Naruto and Taya were walking down the road in the land of rivers. It has been a week since Naruto left the people he found in that last village. He and Taya have been with Tayuya, and then started his journey to the land of rivers, Taya still with him. The reason it took them that long to get from the land of hot water to the land of rivers is because they were walking at normal, civilian speed, and had to cross the entire fire country in order to get from one country to the other. As they were walking through the land of rivers on the way to Katabami Gold Mine, Taya asked Naruto about his powers, and when he was going to give them to her, as he has promised. I will give them to you when we get to the whirlpool, Naruto said. We will stay there for a little while, and it will give you time to get used to your powers, and to do some training in a place where there is no one around, and we won't have to be careful, so that someone doesn't see us. Taya nodded before she asked. What are you? And how are you going to give me those powers? Naruto sighed. To answer the second question first. You shouldn't worry, because you won't feel anything, and I don't have to bite you or anything similar in order for you to gain this power. Taya looked at him with raised eyebrows. So you do know about Orochimaru's cursed seal? She questioned. Yes, Naruto said shortly, but didn't explain how he knew that. Taya decided not to push her luck by asking him that. As for your first question, well, Naruto then went and explained to Taya about Soul Reapers, Hollows, Soul Society, Hueco Mundo and Hell. He explained that he is a human/hollow hybrid, and then explained that he used to be normal human, until he died, after which his soul split up in each piece because a separate hollow. Then he said about the deaths of those hollows, about him being given a third chance in life, and how he was fused back together to be the same way he was before his death, only older looking and with both types of powers. He didn't say, though, who he was while he was human, and he didn't say who fused him back and gave him another chance. He thought that it was not important to mention it at this time. Lilith used to be a normal human, but I turned her into a hybrid in order to save her life, Naruto said. I saved her because we are cousins, even though we didn't know that when we first met. Technically, the first time Naruto and Tayuya met was when Naruto and the others were chasing after Sasuke, and at that time, either of them knew that they are cousins. As I'm sure you have realized it by now, Naruto spoke again. My name is not Alessandro Stark, and Lilith's name is also different. Alessandro was the name of a hollow I used to know back in Hueco Mundo, and Stark was the last name of one of the pieces of my soul. Lilith was the name of a hollow, who was created when Stark split his soul one more time, so technically, you can say they were the same person. Why did you change your name? Taya asked. My real name is famous, and I don't want anyone to know that I'm alive again. As for Lilith's real name, well, you actually know who she is, but I will leave it to her to tell you her real identity. Taya was surprised when she heard that she actually knows who Lilith really is, and she wondered from where she could know her. She thought about it, and came to a realization that Lilith must have been someone who worked for Orochimaru at one point in time, which is why she knows so much about him, about the land of rice paddies, and about the fact that Taya is on the same level if not even stronger than Orochimaru. Putting all those things together, it took Taya about 2 minutes to figure out who Lilith really is. She thought about asking Naruto to confirm it, but decided against it, and will just wait and ask Lilith, or better said, Uzumaki Tayuya. Figuring out who Lilith really is, and remembering that Alessandro said that he and Lilith really are cousins, it made her realize that Alessandro is also an Uzumaki, just like Tayuya. If she was right, and she was sure that she is, Taya now knew why Alessandro and Lilith Tayuya chose the land of whirlpools as the place where they planned to build a village, and eventually a country. If Alessandro really is an Uzumaki, I wonder why he has blonde hair, Taya wondered. All Uzumaki I have met have red hair, and I know it's a clan trait all Uzumaki have in common. Even half Uzumaki and those who only had one grandparent Uzumaki had red hairs. Taya thought about it for another minute before she decided to wait. She was sure that one day she will know if Alessandro and Lilith really are who she thinks they are. After a few more minutes of walking, Naruto asked, What do you know about this next mine? Not much, Taya said. Before I joined Orochimaru, I knew that the mine was controlled by the government leaders, who imposed high taxes on the workers. What happened after I left the land of rivers, and if the things are the same or have changed, I don't know. I see, Naruto said. That means that if the situation is the same, then the people there won't have a problem if we take over, right? Well, I guess it would depend on the kind of deal you make with them, Taya said. If you chase away the current workers to enlist new ones, or if you end up treating them just like the government, then they won't be happy about it. Naruto nodded, and then started to think about how he should approach this situation. In the end, he decided to wait to get there and see with his eyes what's currently going on in the Katabami gold mine, after which he will decide on how to proceed. Few hours later, Naruto and Taya were closing in on the Katabami gold mine. From the distance of a few miles, they could see that the sky above the place where the mine and the small village are located has been covered in dark thunder clouds, and they could also hear the sounds of thunder and lightning. The rain has also started to fall not that long ago. Naruto turned toward Taya and asked, What's that? Taya frowned as she was looking at the cloud-covered sky. I'm not sure, she said. But I think there is some king of battle going on over there. I can feel a large amount of lightning nature chakra in the air, and it's coming from where the mine is. Naruto looked toward the mine for a few moments before he said, Let's go and check it out. Someone could be attacking the workers and trying to take over the gold mine. Taya agreed, and so they ran toward the mine at the fastest speed Taya was capable of. Naruto could go much faster, but decided to run as fast as Taya, and not leave her behind. Few minutes later, they arrived in front of what looks like a small house with a curry shop at the ground level. Just as the two were about to enter into the shop, the door burst open, and out came an older woman, and man in his 20s, with a big cauldron on his back. Naruto and Taya also saw a young girl, along with an even younger boy, at her back. Naruto took one look at the girl, and instantly recognized her. It might have been over a millennia since he has been in the Leaf Village and seen the people there, but he has the perfect memory of his original life, thanks to the goddess. He decided to pretend he didn't know her, and asked, "Excuse me," Naruto drew the attention of the 4 people who just came out from the curry shop. "Can you tell us what's going on over there?" Naruto pointed toward the top of the gold mine, where the thunder and lightning are seen and heard. Instead of answering the question, Tenten asked, "Who are you? And what are you doing here?" Naruto and Taya looked at each other for a moment, before Taya shrugged. "My name is Alessandro, and this is my companion, Taya," Naruto said. "We came here on a business, but as we were getting closer, we noticed the lightning and rushed her to see what's going on." Now Tenten and the other 3 were looking at each other, and wondered who these 2 are and if they are friends or possible foes. Tenten actually voiced this question, getting raised eyebrows from Naruto and Taya. "Well, we are not looking for trouble," Taya spoke for the first time. "We just want to know what's going on here." The old lady looked at the 2 for a moment, before she sighed, and told them that there is currently a battle between one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist, against Tenten's teammates. She also explained what happened to lead to the confrontation. When she finished, Naruto looked at Taya, and nodded at her. As soon as he did that, she disappeared in a lightning shunshin, surprising the other 4, who then looked at Naruto, wanting an explanation. "I don't know what you were planning to do by coming out of that shop during a storm like this," Naruto said, "but if you were planning to go to the mine and assist to those 2 ninja in any way, well, you should just return to the shop, as my friend will deal with Raiga and save your friends." "And why would she do that?" Tenten asked with narrowed eyes. "What do you get out of it?" Naruto looked at her for a moment, before he sighed, and said, "Can we just enter inside of the shop, and I'll explain. I don't feel like standing on this rain, and neither should you." Since she is the owner of the curry shop, the old woman agreed to Naruto's suggestion, and they all went inside of her curry shop. Once inside, the young man took the cauldron into the kitchen, while Tenten, the kid she had with her, and the old woman, sat with Naruto at the table to talk. The young man joined them right away. "So, who are you and what business do you and your companion have here?" Sancho asked. "I recently acquired a gold mine in the land north of the Land of Fire." Naruto started to explain his reason for being there. "But it's not very big mine, and I'm interested in acquiring more of them. I heard about the Katabami gold mine, and decided to come here and see the current situation and if it's possible to take over this mine as its owner." This got him raised eyebrows from everyone in the room, but no one said anything for a full minute. Finally, Sancho spoke. "You know, up until a few years ago, no one really cared about the Katabami gold mine, but then the government of this land took over and started to exploit the mine. They imposed high taxes on the workers, and no one here was happy." Naruto nodded, saying that he already knew that from Taya, who was original from the Land of Rivers. Then, Sancho continued, "About 6 months ago, the Kurasuke family led by Raiga took over the mine and chased away the government leaders. At first, everyone here was happy because we thought that it will be better. It wasn't better, it was worse. Every time he doesn't like someone, or if someone angers or disobeys him, Raiga would seal them alive inside of a coffin, and then bury them." Naruto's eyes narrowed at this. "He would then go and cry and tell the sad stories about those who are buried, making it look like he was actually sad, but he, in fact, enjoys it. Dozens of mine workers have been buried alive. People who had family, friends, they are all gone, and for what? For nothing. For a sick fuck to bury them alive and cry on their funeral. It's terrible." Tenten, Ranmaru and Karasher all looked at the floor, Ranmaru and Karasher in shame, since they had a hand in the death of those people, while Tenten because she was sad for all those people, all that life lost for nothing. Naruto was quiet and looked calm on the outside, but in his head he is also calm and quiet. Stuff like this don't really bother him, as he is not really people person and doesn't care much about anyone except those close to him. Now, while he isn't bothered or angry, he feels sorry for all those innocent people who died because of a maniac. The good thing is that this story reminded him of the fact that there are many people in the Ien who deserve to be eviscerated, and he will make sure they all are taken care of. "So, how did it come to the battle between Raiga and the Leaf Ninja?" Naruto asked while looking at Tenten. "Well, one of our shinobi found 3 unconscious people in the river outside of Konoha," she said. "They were taken to the hospital, and when they woke up, they said what's happening, and the village leaders decided to send a team here and deal with the Kurasuke family." Naruto looked at Tenten with raised eyebrows and confused look on his face. "Let me get this straight," he said. "The 5th Hokage sent 3 genin to deal with one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist, and the former member of Mist and BU Black Ops." Seeing Tenten no, Naruto asked, "Is she insane?" Tenten was offended by the question. As to her, it seems that Naruto is doubting her and her teammates' skills, and has even offended her childhood hero, Lady Tsunade. "She didn't send us," Tenten all but yelled at Naruto, while coming closer to his face, and glared at him. Naruto just sat there, completely calm. He wasn't bothered by Tenten's outburst, nor was he afraid of her. Tenten was calmed down by Ranmaru, Karasher and Sancho. She took a deep breath, before she continued to speak. "We were sent by the village elders. Lady Tsunade is currently incapable of performing her duties as a Hokage, so in her absence, the elders are the ones who are leading the village, and are sending ninja on the missions. Naruto went into deep though as soon as he heard that Tsunade is indisposed, and remembered that she ended up in the asylum at some point, but he wasn't exactly sure when. He decided to find a way to keep a close eye on the leaf, and see what he can do about Tsunade once she is sent to the asylum. Well, your village elders are complete morons, Naruto said with a straight face, making the eyes of everyone in the room widen in disbelief. You can be angry at me for saying that, and say how I shouldn't underestimate you and your teammates, but 3 genin have no chance against highly skilled swordsmen like Raiga. Deep down, I know you know that, even if you don't want to admit it. Tenten wanted to say something, but nothing came out. It was like her own voice betrayed her, and made her keep quiet. Of course, it might also be a rational part of her brain, which prevented her from speaking and embarrassing herself. Naruto is right when he said that deep down, she knows that Niji, Lee and she wouldn't be able to take out Raiga. And do you think that friend of yours would be able to take out Raiga? Tenten asked after she remembered that Taya went to face against Raiga. She doesn't seem to be much older than me and my teammates. You are right, Naruto said. She is only few years older than you and your friends, but she is also much stronger than any of you. Her power and skill easily make her a Kage-level fighter. Tenten's eyes bugged out from her head when she heard how powerful Taya is, as she couldn't believe it. The same goes for the other 3 people in the room, who were also shocked, while Ranmaru was also scared that Raiga will really be killed by Taya if she really is as strong as Naruto says she is. At the same time that Naruto was talking with Tenten and the others in the Curry of Life shop, Taya has arrived at the top of the Katabami gold mine, and has seen Raiga standing over the defeated forms of Lee and Niji. It looked like they have passed out, and from the looks of it, they are about to be killed. Now, while Taya doesn't know the 2 kids, and doesn't really care if they live or die, Naruto sent her to deal with Raiga, and since she is already there, she might as well save those brats. Taya walked toward Raiga, who noticed her before she was too close. He looked at her with narrowed eyes, and wondered who she is and why she was there. Who are you? Raiga asked. My name is Taya, she introduced herself. I'm here to take your head. Is that so? Raiga questioned and let lightning chakra flow through his blades. Well then, let's see if you have the skill to take my head. Raiga placed his blades in order to touch each other, and then sent electrical essence into the thunder clouds above him. Lightning Fong! He yelled his starting attack, and immediately, a bolt of lightning fell from the sky and went straight at Taya. Taya drew her own sword, and swung it above her head, from right to left. Lightning Dome! She yelled, and created a dome of electricity around her, which was then struck by Raiga's attack, and completely absorbed, much to Raiga's shock. Taya then lowered her sword, closed her eyes, and started absorbing all the lightning from around her. Once she did that, she opened her eyes, which were now glowing yellow. Electricity was also surrounding her body, now that she has absorbed a large amount of pure lightning into herself. It will take a whole lot more than that to wound me, Taya said, while sending the lightning from her body into her sword, while keeping it pointed at Raiga. I don't even want to talk about defeating me. Thunder Beam! Taya fired electrical beam from her sword, right at Raiga, who barely managed to jump away from the very powerful attack. He was glad that he dodged it, because when he looked at the destruction caused by the attack, he knew right away that he would have been obliterated if he was hit, and not even his blades would have saved him. Taya didn't wait for Raiga to start with his next attack. She ran at him at her fastest speed, and appeared in front of a shocked Raiga, in a single second, after which she swung her sword at him, hoping to cut him right away and be done with him. Raiga barely managed to block Taya's attack, with his own blades, which he crossed together, and caught Taya's sword in between his own. Right away, he channeled lightning chakra through his swords, and sent lightning charge to Taya's sword and then at her body, electrocuting her in the process. Taya gritted her teeth at being caught by surprise, and paid it by being electrocuted. The good thing for her is that because of her overwhelming mastery over lightning, she has a partial immunity to lightning, which allowed her to go through Raiga's attack, with barely any damage, and only a little pain. Taya and Raiga backed away from each other, and stared for a few moments, before they charged their next attacks. Raiga went and created a ball of lightning in between his swords, and launched it at Taya, who slashed her sword and sent an electrical slash at the lighting ball. The 2 attacks collided and negated each other. After that, Raiga decided to send, not one, but many lightning balls at Taya, but she countered them all with her slashes. Lightning Dragon Tornado! Raiga yelled his most powerful attack, after he got annoyed by Taya either countering or not being affected by his attack. Lightning and wind formed around Raiga, and shaped into a form of a swirling dragon head with red eyes. Seeing Raiga's next attack, Taya sent quite a bit of her chakra into her blade, which was then surrounded by black lightning. She looked at the lightning dragon coming toward her, so she immediately dashed toward it, with her sword pointed backwards. Thunder Slash! Taya shouted her own attack, and swung her sword, which hit Raiga's lightning dragon tornado, and cut through it like hot knife thought butter. Since he was in the middle of his own attack, Raiga was also cut by Taya's attack, and severely wounded. Blood flew from Raiga's chest, which had a very big cut across it. On top of that, the black lighting was now also surrounding Raiga, and was electrocuting him, causing him even more damage and pain, which was shown by his scream. Taya was standing behind Raiga, without a scratch on her. She turned her head, and saw Raiga fall on the ground, his blades lying next to him. You never told us why you want to take over the Katabami gold mine, Sancho questioned. Well, I have some plans for the future, Naruto said. And to be able to accomplish those plans, I need money. Taking over some mines seems like a good way to get a lot of money. It will certainly bring me more than bounty hunting and gambling. So, you don't plan to buy the Katabami gold mine? Sancho questioned again. You just plan to take over like Kurasuki family did. From what Taya told me, there are no owners of the Katabami gold mine, Naruto said. So I can't buy it from anyone, even if I wanted to. The government leaders which used to control the mine are not actually its owners, and have no right to want money for it. On top of that, they were exploiting people while they had control over the mine, and run away with their tails between their legs when Raiga showed up. Because of that, I wouldn't have paid them even if they were the owners. And if you take over the mine, do you plan to run it like the government leaders, or like Raiga did? Karasher asked. I don't have any intention to exploit people, Naruto said. If someone works in the mine, they are paid for their work, and that's that. As for burying people alive, yeah, I don't find that shit amusing. If someone annoys me, I just kill them quickly. Everyone in the room shivered when they heard Naruto's words. They knew, even though it sounds a bit unbelievable, that he is not joking. Tenten finally decided to ask something which she wanted to ask Naruto ever since she saw him. Who are you exactly? What do you do for a living, and what are those plans of yours you mentioned earlier? Naruto looked at Tenten, and then at the others in the room. He saw that they all had curious looks on their faces, as they seemed to want to know the answers to those questions as well. You can think of me as a Ronin, Naruto said. I had ninja training, but I have never actually been one. You can also consider me a professional gambler. As for my plans, well, I want to build a country. Once he said that, 4 pair of eyes widened to epic proportions. What do you mean, build a country? Tenten asked. Naruto shrugged. It's just as it sounds, he said. I have no place to call home, so I want to build one. I have also been traveling around the inn, and have seen that there are a lot of people who live miserable lives for one reason or another, and I want to do something about that. I plan to build a country and offer all those who want to live happy and free lives, away from those who wish to oppress them in any way. Of course, building a country takes time, but most importantly, money, which is why I'm going around, trying to find a way to earn as much money as fast as possible. After a minute of silence, where they all thought about what Naruto said, Sancho said, That seems like a noble goal, young man, and I hope that you are able to accomplish it one day. Thank you, Naruto said. But where do you plan to build a country? Tenten asked. All the nations have leaders, and I don't know of any nation without the leader, or even free land where you can build a country from nothing. Naruto smirked. There are many uninhabited islands all over the sea, Tenten, Naruto said. And most of them are not part of any other nation, so they don't have leaders. I can easily find an island which suits my needs, and build a country there. I see, Tenten said. And do you plan to build a hidden village as well in that country? Naruto thought about if he should tell her or not. In the end, he decided not to tell her, as he knows that she will tell all of this to Konoha leaders, and they might try to cause him trouble because he plans to build a hidden village, which could become a competition to the other hidden villages around the inn. As of right now, no, Naruto said. Building a country is already big enough job. If I were to try and build a hidden village, I would have even more job, since I would have to find shinobi and ninja clans to join the village, and that's a hassle and is not worth it. Besides, there are a lot of nations who don't have hidden villages, so why should I bother to build one? Tenten nodded in understanding. She was, in a way, happy that there won't be another hidden village, as that would mean that her own village might lose potential clients, and in the future, that village might end up as another enemy for Konoha. Then again, it might be a good idea to tell to the Elder Council when she returns to Konoha about all that she found out from Naruto and Taya, about Taya's power, as well as about Naruto's plans. If only she could find a way to find out how powerful Naruto is, but she can't just ask him, as he might get suspicions. While Tenten was trying to find a way to gauge out Naruto's power, Taya walked through the entrance of the Curry of Life shop. Lee and Niji were walking behind her, though at the safe distance, as they seemed to be careful around her. Is the job done? Naruto asked, and Taya only nodded, but didn't say anything. She walked over to one of the chairs and sat down. Where is Raiga? Taya pointed to the scroll tied to her hip. Naruto nodded and didn't say or ask anything else. Rammer, though, he looked at the scroll and knew that Raiga was dead. He started to cry as Raiga, even though he was not exactly a nice person, was his friend, and someone without whom Rammer wouldn't be alive at this point. It was Raiga who saved him, it was Raiga who took him with him, cared for him, and showed him the world. Without him, right now, he would be just bones in the small cottage in the land of water, where he used to live. Sancho tried to comfort Ranmaru by hugging him and telling him everything will be okay, but it wasn't helping much. Tenten also tried to help, as she didn't want to see the kid cry for someone who, even though has helping him survive, clearly wasn't a nice person. The others in the room were quiet, though all except Naruto were looking at Ranmaru and feeling sad for him. Naruto felt nothing. After a few minutes, Ranmaru managed to calm down and stopped crying. That's when Tenten asked him what he plans to do now. I don't know, Ranmaru said. I can't go anywhere by myself. Raiga was my hands and legs. Without him, I'm useless. What do you want to do? Surprisingly, it was Naruto who asked. Hearing the question, everyone looked at him, including Ranmaru. What do you mean? Ranmaru asked. Raiga might be dead, Naruto said. But you are alive, even though you have health issues. So, is there something that you would want to do or see? If it is, you should do everything you can to find a way to do it, regardless of your health problems. One thing you should learn and follow until the day you die is that as long as you are alive, you shouldn't give up, and should do everything in your power to achieve your goals, regardless if they are good or bad. So, I ask you again. What is it you want to do with your life? Ranmaru went into deep thought after he heard Naruto's advice and question. What is it he wanted? Well, the answer is simply. He doesn't know. When he was living alone in that cottage, he didn't think he will live long enough to achieve anything. So there was no need to make some big plans for the future, or to have any dreams. After Raiga took him with him, he wanted to help Raiga accomplish his goals, no matter what they are, but he still didn't have anything he wanted to do, see or achieve for himself. Now that Raiga is dead, he has a chance to think about what to do with his life. But it's not easy to come up with something, when your entire life you didn't think you will have a chance to accomplish anything. I don't know, Ranmaru said after a few minutes of thinking. I never thought about wanting something in my life, as I never expected to have a chance to do anything. Well then, you should think about it, Naruto said. Now you have a chance and time to think. In the meantime, you could stay here, that is, of course, if the old lady doesn't have a problem with that. Naruto looked at Sancho, waiting to hear her answer. Everyone else did the same when they heard Naruto's suggestion. Sancho smiled. Of course I don't have any problem with that, she said while looking at Ranmaru. I will teach you how to make the curry of life, and you can stay here as long as you want, even forever if you wish to make a living out of making curry. Ranmaru was moved to tears by Sancho's generous offer, and has accepted it with a large smile on his face. The others in the room also has small smiles on their faces, as they were happy for the kid. With Ranmaru's problem finally over, Sancho decided to give everyone a portion of her curry of life, to celebrate and as a thank you for saving the villagers and mine workers from Raiga and Kurasuki family. Niji and Tenten have declined, as politely as possible, the offer to eat any more of that curry, but their teammate, Lee, has decided that he will have their portions as well. It made the Hyuga and the weapons mistress of Konoha wonder what kind of stomach Lee has. Everyone was surprised when Naruto and Teiya took their portions and ate them with no problem whatsoever. When Naruto asked for seconds, Tenten and Niji fell over anime style, while Lee shouted about Naruto's youth, and hugged him with one arm, while he was shoveling curry into his mouth with the other. Naruto wasn't bothered, surprisingly, and was also eating with one arm, while also having a small smirk on his face. 4 people, 1 guy and 3 girls, are on the way to the southern port in the land of the hot water. They are going there to meet with Taiya, who will then take them to the Whirlpool country, where Naruto will finally see his mother's birth country, and the same place, which he has decided to rebuild. It has been 3 months since Naruto and Teiya were in the land of rivers, where they went to acquire the Katabami gold mine, and a lot has happened since then. First, after Raiga was disposed of, and the people in the village at the base of the Katabami gold mine heard who saved them, they were thankful to Naruto and Teiya. That soon changed when they all heard that Naruto has come there to take over the mine. They weren't happy when they heard that, because they assumed he is just like the government leaders and Raiga were, and is going to just use them. Of course, they were wrong to compare Naruto to Raiga and some pissant government leaders. That was because, overall, Naruto is much, much worse than any of them. But Naruto is not the kind of person who would exploit weak and poor, probably because he can see the original self in all those people, and knows what it's like to be at the mercy of those above you and those stronger than you. It took Naruto a while to convince the people that he will not use them like those before him did. He admitted that he is not a nice person, but he also said that he is not a cold-blooded bastard who would exploit the weak for his own gain or amusement. He promised that all those who chose to work in the mine will be paid, and will not be forced to work more than they could. After 2 days of negotiations, the villagers finally accepted to have Naruto as the new leader of the Katabami gold mine. Of course, Naruto wanted to have everything official and on paper, so to say, which is why he paid a visit to the daimyo of the Land of Rivers. The daimyo of the Land of the Rivers is a disgusting piece of shit, who was even able to make Naruto disgusted with how he looks and the stuff he was doing, and that's saying a lot, considering what Naruto has seen and done in his over a millennia-long life as a hollow. The daimyo is a very big and fat guy, to the point that he can barely more. When Naruto and Teiya went to the royal palace, they first saw him seating in a big royal chair, which was big enough to have 3 regular-sized people sit on it, one next to each other. But in the daimyo's case, he barely fits in the chair, and it looks like it will soon have to be replaced with a bigger one. In the throne room, there were dozens of samurai and even some ninja, on all sides of the room. They were there to protect the daimyo, even though some of them, obviously didn't want to do it, judging by the looks of disgust on their faces. But the worst thing about this daimyo is the fact that he has several young girls, wearing nothing but skimpy bikinis, which are barely covering their modesty, but that's about it. Most of them are surrounding the daimyo, and are feeding him, while 3 of the girls were sitting on his lap, with his hands going all over them, molesting them, much to the girls' horror and disgust. Unfortunately for them, they didn't have other choice but to take it and hope that one day, it will be over, though they have been losing hope as of late. Fortunately for the girls, and unfortunately for the daimyo, Naruto and Taya have arrived, and they, especially Taya, were not happy with what they were seeing. What happened next was a complete massacre of everything alive in the daimyo's palace. The samurai, ninja, government leaders and other agents, everyone was killed, even the daimyo's family, cocks and the guard dogs. The only beings left alive are the innocent girls, and the daimyo himself. The daimyo almost suffered a heart attack because of what he has just witnessed, as well as because of the sight of blood and internal organs, along with the disgusting smell left behind by dismembered corpses. The fear daimyo felt after witnessing all of that carnage was nothing compared to the fear he felt at the sight of Naruto standing in front of him with furious look on his face. It was too much for the fat sack of shit, and he lost control of himself and his bodily functions to the point he pissed and craped himself. A few minutes later, and the Land of Rivers daimyo has signed over the Katabami gold mine to Taya, who then led the girls outside of the palace, leaving Naruto with the daimyo. Naruto then forced the daimyo, under the threat of most painful death, to sign over the whole Land of River to Naruto Uzumaki, who, from that moment, has become the daimyo of the Land of Rivers. The reason Naruto used his real name on the contract is because, as soon as the former daimyo has signed the contract, Naruto killed him by chopping off his head. Since everyone else has been killed, and the girls and Taya have been outside of the palace, there was no one who could see and hear his real name. Showing the contract also won't be the problem, because Naruto's signature is very specific, and it doesn't actually state his name, so if anyone is to see it, they won't be able to interpret the letters of the signature. With that settled, the only thing left was for Naruto to find a way to lead the Land of Rivers, without staying there all the time. Originally, he planned to make a shadow clone and leave it behind, but he realized that even if he doesn't do anything, the shadow clone will be released with just one little tap. All it would be needed is for the shadow clone to bump into someone, and that would be the end of him. Fortunately, Taya had a solution: blood clone jutsu. It's a jutsu invented by the Uzumaki clan long ago, and is said to be the best clone jutsu out of all of them. All that was needed to make it is to offer a little of the blood, and then perform hand seals, before the user taps the hand with the blood on it on the ground. The clone will immediately form out of that same blood, as well as chakra. The reason the blood clone is the best version of all clone jutsu is because there are only 2 ways to release the blood clone. One is for the original to simply release the jutsu, and the other is for the blood clone to be killed off, just like the real person would have to be. If the blood clone is not released in one of those 2 ways, it could last for a long time. The blood clone will also age at the same speed as the regular human, so if a blood clone is made, and then left to live a normal life, with some luck, it could live long enough to reach old age and actually die of old age, and not by being released by the original, or be killed off. The blood clone is one true version of clone jutsu, and all the others are just simple copies. Everything that the blood clone learns gets back to the original after it's released. This is one of the original functions of the clone, and when the second Hokage made shadow clone jutsu, he made it by performing the same hand seals as the ones needed for the blood clone jutsu, but without the blood offered, which is why the shadow clone sends the memories and experience back to the original after it disperses, but the lack of blood makes it considerably weaker than the blood clone. Some other functions of the blood clone are that, just as a regular human, the blood clone can replenish its chakra if it loses some, and just like the normal human, it can die from chakra exhaustion. Also, the clone can learn everything just as a regular human, but the problem with that is, if it is left created for a long time, and learns a lot of stuff, once it's finally released, the feedback to the original could be potentially catastrophic to the point it would melt the brain from the overload. Of course, that would be a problem for a normal human being, something that Naruto isn't, which is why he doesn't have to be worried about his brain melting, as even if that does happen, Naruto's high-speed regeneration is so high that he could regenerate his whole body along with internal organs in case he is completely destroyed. It is considered to be an S-rank jutsu, but not because it takes a lot to make it, but because of its overall functions. The amount of chakra necessary to make it is equal to the A-rank jutsu, just like the regular shadow clone. So, once Naruto learned of this, he asked Taya to teach him the jutsu, and she did. Naruto was able to make a blood clone on his first try, but he spent about an hour training to master the jutsu to perfection, just in case. When the blood clone was created, Naruto and Taya left to continue their journey, while the blood clone was left behind to clean up the mess in the daimyo's palace. He is also to find himself people who will work for him, and to take care of the Katabami gold mine and make sure that everything there goes smoothly. Along with the Katabami gold mine, the original Naruto has tasked him to find the people for the other mine in the land, west of the Sound Country. After leaving the Land of Rivers, Naruto and Taya decided to head north, and check out some of the smaller countries which are located in between Land of Wind and the Land of Earth. And so, 10 days after the Land of Rivers, Naruto and Taya found themselves in the Land of Birds right in the middle of the civil war in the country. Instead of choosing sides in order to get the favor from that side, which would undoubtedly win with Naruto and Taya on their side, the two of them decided to check out the situation and how it came to the civil war. On one side of the war is Toki, the daughter of the previous daimyo of the Land of Birds, and the twin sister of Sagi, the guy who became daimyo after his father's death, but only stayed at the position for 6 months before he was poisoned, which led to his death. Some of the soldiers who were loyal to her father and brother are on her side, but they are in minority. On the other side of the war is a guy called Mozo, along with majority to the country. From what Naruto and Taya found out from asking some civilians, which by the way, weren't as much of them as there used to be, since many of them were collateral of the war, and have been killed either in battles, or by Mozo's side in order to pressure Toki into giving up, as he knew that she is weak toward those who she cares about, and her family has always been known to care about the people they rule over. When Mozo first showed up, he played a high priest, and ended up became a chief advisor to the daimyo, Washi. After Washi's death, which was caused by Mozo poisoning him, not that anyone knew that, Sagi inherited the title of the daimyo from his father. Unfortunately, he was also poisoned by Mozo again, not that anyone knew this, because after this happened, Toki, disguised as her brother, making it seem as if she was the one who perished, while Sagi survived. In order to avenge her father's and brother's deaths, Toki dressed up as a cursed warrior, so that she can find out who killed her father and brother. This has eventually led Mozo into sending Tsushima, a friend of the late Sagi and Toki, to the Stone Village, so that he can hire a team to come to the Land of Birds in order to discover who the cursed warrior is, and to put a stop to him. The team came, and after a little while, it was discovered that Toki was playing the cursed warrior, and by discovering that she is alive, it was discovered that Sagi is dead, and that Toki has been keeping this a secret from everyone. In the end, this led to many turning their backs to her, except a few who stayed on her side. Even when it was revealed that Mozo isn't actually who he said he was, but was instead a missing nin called Hoki, and that the man working for him are in fact all members of the Wandering Clan, along with Hoki, it didn't change anything, since by then, Hoki has made an agreement with the Stone Village, and now they were on his side. According to the agreement, Stone Village will help Hoki take over the Land of Birds, but the Land of Birds will become Stone's allies, and will be allowed to use the land and resources of the Land of Birds as they see fit. Hoki agreed to this, because he knew he won't find an easier way to win the civil war and take over as the daimyo. He also knew that Stone won't try to screw him over, because they wouldn't be able to take over the Land of Birds and annex it as a part of the Land of Earth. The other great nations wouldn't like that, especially the Land of Wind, and could mean the start of the Fourth Great Ninja War, which no one wanted. At least not at that point. So, the Stone joined forces with Hoki, and what would have been a long-lasting war between two sides of close power immediately went in Hoki's favor, as Toki and her side didn't have manpower to fight against Hoki and Stone at the same time. What Toki and her side needed was the help from outside force, who will at least deal with Stone, while Toki's side deals with Hoki's man. Once they found out the current situation in the Land of Birds, and what led to the war, Naruto and Taya made a decision to pay a visit to Toki, in order to make a deal with her. And the deal was made. Naruto and Taya offered to help Toki win the war, but in exchange, Naruto wanted to be the leader of the Land of Birds from the shadows, while everyone else will believe that Toki is the true leader. That way, he will have control over the country, and their resources, while Toki will get her wish of having a relatively free country, without the criminals leading it, as they would do. Kami only knows what with her country. Naturally, Toki wasn't exactly happy with Naruto's proposal, but she couldn't refuse his offer, as she knew that if she refuses, then the Land of Birds will end up in the hands of the criminals, and the Land of Earth, who will extract everything they want, while leaving people to suffer. Naruto's offer to let her lead the country as she wishes, except in the situations when he needs something, was too good to refuse, and so in the end, she accepted. And so, Naruto sent Taya to deal with Hoki and those who work for him, while Naruto went to deal with Earth ninjas sent by the Tsuchikage. Taya proved her strength once again by defeating, relatively easily, Hoki and his right and left-hand man, Hokushin and Nagar. They weren't weak by any means, but compared to Taya, they might as well have been academy students. As for the remaining members of Hoki's group, they were barely above civilian level, compared to Taya. The battle ended, with all members of Hoki's Wandering Clan slayed by Taya's hands, and she didn't even have to go anywhere close to all out. Oh well, at least Hoki, Hokushin and Nagar all had bounties on their heads, so there will be some use for them, even if they didn't give her the kind of battle that she wanted. Naruto's opponents were actually stronger than Taya's, and not only they were stronger, but they were more numerous. Stone has decided to take no chances, so they have sent quite a few of their relatively powerful shinobi. Not the most powerful, but still powerful and experienced. The weakest among the group are so-called, the three brothers, named Iwaji, Iwakio and Iwazo. Since they were the weakest, and had nothing special among them, Naruto killed them all with one punch, each. This showed how big the difference between Naruto and regular humans is, in terms of overall power, as, even Tsunade with her legendary strength, wouldn't be able to kill someone with a single punch, well, unless, of course, that someone is a civilian or an academy student. The next group which attacked Naruto were the few surviving members of the famous Kamizura clan. Kamizura was a clan of Beusers from the Stone Village who were once very well known and revered, but they have lost their status after their defeat at the hands of the Aburame clan of Konoha. It is said that the first Tsuchikage was a member of Kamizura clan. After the defeat, they fell out of favor in the stone, and over the next years, most of them have perished, leaving only few of them, who are now taking as many missions as possible in order to have their clan acknowledged. Now, while the clan has fallen out of favor in the recent decades, the current third Tsuchikage, Inoki, is the member of the clan, and commands great power and respect in stone. The thing is, though, that Inoki and his granddaughter Kuratsuchi have different powers compared to the powers of their clan, which is the control over bees. As such, they are better acknowledged in the village, compared to the clan members who can't do anything except control bees, and battle with them. Outside of Inoki and Kuratsuchi, the only other members of the Kamizura clan are Suzumabachi, Kurobachi and Jibachi, and they are the ones who were sent to the land of birds along with some other shinobi of the stone. After the three brothers were defeated, the three members of the Kamizura clan went against Naruto, who let them show what they know, and to see if there is something useful to them, which he can use for his gain. It took him less than a minute to realize that among the three, the only one with some talent is Suzumabachi, so Naruto killed her two brothers right in front of her eyes, much to Suzumabachi's horror and despair, and then he proceeded to beat the crap out of her. Once Naruto was done, he left her defeated and unconscious body to lie on the ground, while he dealt with the rest of the stone's forces. Stone Kunoichi, with black hair and two red bangs, along with the sword on her back, was the next one to go after Naruto. She proved she has the power to back up her rank of Jonin, by using several B and A rank Earth Jutsu, the strongest of which was the Earth and Stone Dragon. But everything she tried against Naruto was useless in the end, as he is just too powerful for her. In the end, she was defeated by Naruto, but wasn't killed. Naruto will simply let her get away this one time, though if they cross paths one more time, well, it will hardly end up in the way Stone Kunoichi would want. Seeing that Naruto has picked apart everyone else, the last two Stone Ninja decided to go after Naruto at the same time. The two of them were by far the strongest among all Stone Ninja who were sent to the land of birds by the Tsuchikage, and thought that by attacking Naruto at the same time, they will win, easily. They thought wrong. 5 minutes into the battle, Naruto got bored, and decided to end it. Unfortunately for Gari of the explosion style and Keiko of the dust style, Naruto got interested in their bloodlines, which means that there won't be any form of afterlife for them. Arankar have an interesting power called Ganzui, which allows them to suck out the souls of others, and by doing that, increase their Ryatsu. This is one of the common abilities of Arankars. One of the abilities Aranero Araruri had was hollow absorption, which allowed him to not only absorb Ryatsu of the hollows he consumes, but also their abilities and knowledge. Naruto can use both Ganzui and hollow absorption, but his power and skill allows him to take this to a whole new level, which is why he is capable of consuming the souls of humans, and by doing that, he can gain their knowledge and any special power or bloodline they might possess. While Naruto, with all the Arankar and Soul Reaper powers he has, doesn't really need to get any of the ninja powers. He found the explosion release and dust release interesting enough to acquire them. Will he use them or not, is to be seen in the future, but even if he was never to use them, those two bloodlines are now a part of him, which means that if he was to have children one day, they might awaken those bloodlines. With Gari's and Keiko's souls and powers sucked away by Naruto, their bodies fell on the ground, dead. Naruto then walked over to where Suzumabachi's defeated body was lying, and picked her up, before he headed to meet with Teiya and the new daimyo of the land of birds, Toki. He noted it down, though, to send Teiya to seal the heads of Gari and Keiko, so that they can cash in their heads, as they both had bounties on them.